Today's matchup. SKTelecom T1. ROX Tigers. 2016 Coca-Cola Zero League of Legends Champions Korea Summer Round 2.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another day of LCK Summer Round 2. I'm Achilles. With me tonight is Monte Cristo. We're coming to you live from the OGN E Stadium here in Seoul. And boy, do we have one hell of a title match for you guys tonight. SKTelecom T1 versus ROX Tigers. The rematch from Worlds last year, the rematch from the spring final. And now it all comes together in this moment. One of these teams will be going home in first place of LCK for the time being.
Yeah, that's right. And this is a big match, obviously. Taking that first place is absolutely huge, especially in the second round robin, because, again, if you guys are unfamiliar with our playoff format, for every seed that you advance, you play one fewer best of five. It's a gauntlet system, and that means that seeding is extremely important, so every match really does count. And the last time we saw these two teams, I nearly tilted off the face of the earth. You and I were casting that game, Achilles.
Why was that, Monty? I don't recall.
It was one of the most horrific pick and ban phases that I have seen, not only this season, but really ever in Korea, where ROX Tigers did get 2-0'd by SKTelecom, but it was picking Swain and Vladimir into the Anivia Ezreal 2 games in a row, virtually identical drafts. I had a lot of questions about that.
I'm sure we all did.
We definitely did, and basically ROX Tigers, who are known for having no very intelligent coach and usually an exceptional draft, really falling down. So I hope we have gotten that out of the way. We're not going to see any kind of drafts in this series that would really hamper either team's ability to actually win in the game itself.
Yeah, it seems like ROX, of course, starting out having those weird drafts and just odd games in general to start off the season, have kind of gotten over that hump. Meanwhile, SKTelecom, starting up way up here, have really plummeted lately, losing several of their recent series. A 2-0 loss to Africa Freaks, the most recent one coming to mind. Or no, rather ESC Ever. ESC Ever would be the most recent loss, but another one there, losing 1-2 against them. So definitely SKTelecom has not been in form as of late, and we're going to see if this little bit of a break in between the rounds has opted enough time for them to improve, because they've had a lot of troubles. Wolf not playing as well as he has in the past, but of course the big one is going to be Blank and Bengi in the jungle, who've just been completely underperforming, now going up against Peanut, who's kind of gotten back on the horse.
Yeah, absolutely. And as we can see with the rankings right here, SKTelecom currently in fourth place, but as you can see with their +8 game score, if they win tonight, they do end up 7-3, and they will have a higher match score than KT Rolster, so they will take first place. ROX Tigers really have a chance to distance themselves in that first place standing. They could go 8-2, putting them a game or a match ahead rather of KT. So that's a pretty big improvement for them, and you need those wins versus the top teams, because those are the ones that really matter, so you can have the easier matches to more, let's say, safely win later down the line.
Yeah. Of course, ROX Tigers always have had some issues going up against SKTelecom. now going to be taking preventative measures, putting in Cry starting in the mid lane to go up against Faker instead of Koro, who has just time and time again not been able to perform.
Now, Cry did play in Game 2 of their last series, and he did play the Vladimir in the laning phase, into the Anivia better, but it still wasn't an option in terms of team fighting.
Yeah.
So we are also going to see Blank in the jungle once again tonight. We'll talk about Blank in just a little bit, but SKTelecom here as a team, they've lost 3 of their last 4 best of 3s, and they've lost to Jin Air, Africa, and ESC ever. Their only win was versus Longzhu, and it's worth noting that all of these matches have been against teams in the bottom 50% of the league. So they've been losing to the bottom half of the table for the most part, and it has been a bit of a disturbing trend from SKTelecom.
Yeah.
And Bang and Faker have still been performing, and really, you got to point to their jungle and say, this is the biggest problem right now.
Yeah, definitely a cause for concern. Not necessarily a cause for panic yet for all of you SKTelecom fans out there. Still a very strong team, but certainly need to get themselves together. And tonight's going to prove whether or not they've been able to do that, going up against a very formidable foe in the form of the ROX Tigers, who, as we mentioned, have been finding really recent success.
Yeah, and these teams are sort of mirrors of each other. SKTelecom started off the season very hot, and ROX was struggling, but ROX is on a 5-match win streak right now, and their last 3 matches have all been 2-0s. And a big cheer, actually, for the ROX Tigers.
You guys can hear them right there. The crowd completely packed in at the moment in the studio. Big cheer for the ROX Tigers, drowning out that of the fans of SKTelecom.
Wow, impressive. I've never heard that before.
Yeah, I mean, they're growing in popularity, and it's not a surprise. What's not to love about the ROX Tigers? They're a fun team, they're fun to watch, and just overall a good group.
Yes, they are, and looking to continue that big win streak right now. Their 5-match win streak has been against KT, CJ, Longzhu, Jin Air, and Africa. So, again, playing the bottom half of the standing for the most part and picking up those wins with the notable exception of KT. So, ROX Tigers, both of these teams have been playing against not the top of the field. So this is their first chance in quite some time to show what their competitive level is against more of the top 5 teams like them in this league.
Yeah, of course, coming in after that little bit of a break, we have to expect some new and interesting picks to come out. Yesterday, CJ Entis bringing out the Talia in the mid lane twice in a row. Jin Air, of course, not banning it, because they never ban the thing that causes them problems. Ended up losing that series, but we know that Faker's been playing the Talia. Cry as well has been practicing that, but Faker, more interestingly, has been really putting in games on Malzahar in the mid lane, which is something that we have not seen yet. So far, the only Malzahar was Trace in top lane on Jin Air.
Yeah, and the Malzahar does remind me of a kind of pick Faker would like to play. If we think about how he likes to play champions like Victor and Azir, it's with heavy pressure onto the turret, a lot of chipping, and so he likes to play champions that can push very aggressively and keep the mid laner, the enemy mid laner, pinned into that lane. So doesn't surprise me that we're going to see potentially a Malzahar pick here for Faker.
Yeah. You see, though, the KDAs, Bang still topping the tables as far as 80 carries go. I believe it's Arrow who comes up second, Prey a little bit further down the list. And then the only other real discrepancy that you're going to be seeing here so far is going to be in that support role and slightly in the mid. Cry hasn't played nearly as many games as Faker, so there's going to be a couple grains of salt that you have to take with that stat. But both of these supports actually uncharacteristic performances. Wolf more so as of late. Gorilla did start off with the highest deaths for a support. Or deaths in general.
Yeah, deaths in the league, actually, for quite some time. But he has actually gone pretty far down that list now. He has been picking it up. Really, Gorilla had a shaky start to the season, getting caught out quite a lot. But that has improved. And as you can see, SKTelecom's KDA week to week there, really just going down and down and down as this team struggles.
Oh, was that the KD? I thought that was the British pound, sorry.
Oh, okay.
I misread the graph. I thought we were looking at something else. But yeah, so definitely a cause for concern. But this is a moment for SKTelecom to turn things around, come out swinging, and try to find a victory and firmly place themselves and say, we are the #1 team in Korea. We pretty much always have been, and we will remain to be. But it's just an equally good opportunity for ROX Tigers to bounce back in. So you know what? We're taking over, and this time we're not going to lose to you in the finals.
Well, we'll hope. I do like the fact that they're starting Cry at this point in time. They're acclimating him to games against SKTelecom, probably because they might want to use him on a stage in a playoff match in case Kuro has his usual stint of being unable to perform in pressure games versus Faker. So we are going to see the Nidalee banned first, usually a pretty safe ban against Peanut, and the Sivir taken out here by the ROX Tigers. The question is, is ROX going to take out the Azir as well?
Well, we saw Faker play the Azir, I believe, in all 3 games recently, or he played it a lot recently and didn't find any relative success with it. So they might not be as worried about that pick as they normally would be. I think it might have been against Ever that they were playing it.
Ever also banned it in the final game of that series, so it's been a little bit back and forth. But they're not going to do it. The Vladimir is actually banned out. Interesting, because Faker's only played it a single game this season. It hasn't been a priority for SKTelecom, but we'll see. Again, the Talia we saw yesterday in the CJ match where Sky against Jinair actually pretty handily won his lane against both Azir and Victor, including getting solo kills against the Azir. So the Azir may have been left up for a possible Talia counterpick.
Oh, wow, okay.
And that is very interesting to see first. Obviously, Ashe much more of a Prey champion than a Bang champion, but they're going to deny it with the first pick.
He has played this a couple times this split, this season so far, but first picking the Ashe, it's a really bold stance to take off the bat here from SKTelecom. Had something much more flexible available, like the Karma, that Faker is more than comfortable to play in the mid lane, Wolf as well in support, but they just want to go all out and pick up that Ashe.
Yeah, that's a big change in priority for SKTelecom. As you say, the Karma has been pretty much their de facto first pick this season, and not seeing that go first may mean a little bit of a tricky draft here from SKT. Peanut, I like the Gragas pickup for him, just because with the Elise and the Nidalee ban, they've taken out 2 of the early game junglers for him to play to have an effect on the map early. So I would like him to play the Gragas. I would love to see that. He has not played it this season yet, but I do think it should be a third pick to actually unleash his early aggression. But it will be the Braum and the Jhin coming in instead.
So just going for that bot lane. So Prey, one of the big ones that brought Jhin into the meta here in Korea, opting to go for that, and they take the Braum away smartly so that SKTelecom don't have a support that can block all of those curtain call shots.
Yeah, Prey is really the player who brought the Jhin play in last season, and yeah, he is definitely the most accomplished Jhin player that we have in this league. And the meta's been going his way. When Ashe and Jhin suddenly became the highest priority AD picks, Prey was well suited to have that eventuality, and they're going to take the Gragas. That's why I thought ROX would take the Gragas in the first round of the draft. So SKTelecom just trying to pull Peanut away from junglers that he can have a heavy effect on in the early game. Alistar is taken because Jhin Braum is not a very scary lane to play against, because Jhin just can't stack concussive blows very quickly. So good in the late game, good in team fighting, great in team fighting, just like Alistar is, but you get a more or less a more free pass with Alistar against the Jhin Braum lane. You're not going to be punished quite as hard.
Well, Gorilla, famous for spamming the Alistar in the last split, so it's going to be very comfortable going up against that. Knows the bounds of that champion. Experienced them firsthand after the nerfs. Tried playing Alistar a couple times, and it fell flat, but...
Yeah, Braum is his most played champion this season.
Here we go. This is interesting. So Azir going to be locked in for Cry in the mid lane, as well as the Kindred for Peanut in the jungle. So still getting that very aggressive AD jungler, but picking Azir into Faker, always a bold move.
Will we see the LeBlanc come out? And yes, we will against Africa. He had a very famous 0-5-0 LeBlanc game, very un-Faker-like. Trundle will also be grabbed here, but Smeb, he's been very comfortable in the Trundle lanes. It wouldn't surprise me to see the Rumble come out again, or the Gnar.
I don't think have we seen him play Gnar? I feel like we haven't seen him play Gnar yet.
We have
Rumble's
not.
been
Yeah,
Rumble's
Rumble.
been the answer. We've seen Gnar from a couple other top laners.
I do agree that the Gnar is a better selection here. ROX, I feel, have been guilty of building too many glass cannon compositions lately,
Well,
which this would be one of them.
this would very much be a glass cannon.
They have been known to do that just because their skirmishing is so good that they can get away with it. But at the same time, a big tank line, they have plenty of damage with Kindred, Azir, and Jhin already. You could also go for more damage with the Rumble, and that would be the Smeb selection in this matchup. But I do feel that the Gnar offers you a bit more. But they're going to take the Rumble,
All right.
as they usually do, into the Trundle, and this should be a matchup expected here by Duke. But you can see how far the top lane picks actually fell in this draft. Both teams really prioritizing their top lane lane matchups.
No one even went for Aurelia. Made it through the draft. No one picking it up, not even banning it. So interesting to see that that pick wasn't even hovered once. But going back to this Rumble for Smeb, going to be pretty comfortable on it. I mean, last couple times we've seen him build this, of course, does go for just pretty much flat AP, maybe a Riley's Crystal Scepter for a little bit of tankiness, but overall is just going to be trying to rush something like the Proto Belt, bring that out, and then go straight for damage there on out. Because the Gnar, we've seen it a couple times. The most recent one that I could think of, the Longzhu going up against MVP, trying that one. And that fell flat on its face.
Yeah, but it's also been successful a lot of the time, too. So it definitely is a good matchup if you can start to snowball that lane. Trundle will not have the split pushing advantage against you. However, SKTelecom here, they've got a great pick composition. Ashe with the LeBlanc. You got plenty of engage, too, with the Gragas. So great single target isolation here for SKT. So if they get some picks and start... that's really going to be their strategy. Their 4-1 split is not great because of the LeBlanc and the Ashe are not awesome at Siege. So split pushing with Duke going to be less of an option. Pick composition is probably going to be the best way to play for SKT.
All right, well, let's go ahead and get straight into game one. The match of the century, SKTelecom versus ROX Tigers. All right, kicking things off with a Cloud Drake. Seems to be the new curse for you and I.
Well, Achilleos, I don't think we're going to need to wait long in this game to start getting these skirmishes together. Both of these
Probably
compositions are going to want to fight early and often here.
I can see Peanut already sitting on the ramp in full vision. He's trying to bait them in. The rest of ROX waiting in the wings. Faker going to dash away with the distortion as he takes a couple hits from those concussive blows. He'll get a little bit of damage in. Might send him back to base, but overall not going to be finding any first blood yet, but kicking things off nice and bloody.
That was tricky.
Smart by Peanut.
Yeah, just hiding right there in the zone without vision. Peanut trying to bait them in. I think they didn't wait long enough there before revealing themselves. But there you go. Meantime, we do have lane swap being initiated here by SKTelecom. So he's sending their duo lane into that top side. And as for the ROX Tigers, I mean, pretty much a high damage pick composition for them as well. We've seen teams like ROX and KT do some great tower dives with the Jhin, opening up from across the map and then diving with, of course, the Kindred or the Rumble, going to be pretty useful.
Yep. You can see there on your screen, though, the race to 1,000 kills. Faker a little bit ahead of Prey.
But Faker did it in 20 fewer games, so...
That's true.
And all of those were losses for Prey. 146-55, 146-75. Still very impressive records. The race to 1,000 kills. Also, this match, historically, all time, we've seen it a lot the past couple of years since the formation of the Tigers. SKTelecom is currently sitting at 21-8 in this matchup. So, pretty much dominated by SKT. They win about 75% of the time.
Not too bad. See Duke gonna get caught by that Winter's Bite, but will be able to walk back up into the jungle with Blank. And in all likelihood, we're just gonna be seeing the tower race start out in both the top and mid, as these guys will be trading objectives.
Yeah, the big problem here, and I think why we're seeing the draft denial of the Elise, Nidalee, and Gragas by SKTelecom has been that Blank is pretty miserable in terms of statistics this season. He currently has the lowest first blood rate of any jungler, starting jungler, I should say, in the league at 11%, which means that when there's a first blood, he's only contributing to it 11% of the time, which is just a horrendous stat. Peanut is only at 29%, which is still very low, especially considering he was above 60% last season.
Yeah.
So he's been more of a farming jungler this time around in the summer.
I mean, if we compare that to somebody like Score, who has significantly higher stats than
he's now Score's number 1 in the league now, about 55. But the other factor that's disconcerting is you say, okay, Blank, well, what are you doing then? You're not actually ganking people, so you're not sacrificing farm to go ahead and get some kills. Are you doing a lot of damage in the late game with all that farm you're getting? And the answer is no. He has the lowest DPM of all junglers in the league also at 275, and you compare that to Peanut at 358. It's pretty significant.
Yeah.
And I still question using Blank right now because at least Bengi is actually second behind Score when it comes to first blood. So there's a lot, I think, going on here, and SKT's just been doing the lion's share of the carrying out of the mid and AD carry because Bang and Faker are number 2 and number 4 in total DPM damage per minute in this league. So they are doing damage. It really is the jungle that's a problem, and we can take a look at statistics, but you also just watch the games, watch the pathing. It's kind of a disaster for these junglers. They just haven't been in the right place at the right time. Blank's been caught out a bunch. Just hasn't been a good look.
Yeah. See though, Cry holding his own so far in this mid lane. Faker will get a nice little advantage though as far as CS goes with this wave crashing in. So just inch his way out. Overall though, not going to be a terrible deficit here for the Azir. The newer player goes back. Will pick up a second Doran's Ring as well as a Null Magic Mana, just trying to mitigate as much of that LeBlanc burst as he possibly can.
Yeah, interesting that Cry took the cleanse here. Usually you'd see that more in an Elise LeBlanc matchup, so he's very worried about the chains apparently. Not going to be able to cleanse much from the Gragas really, except for the slow on the barrel rolls.
And the Ash Arrow of Bang lands
That's true.
across the map.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So
we'll have that for the later game.
We've seen a lot of Ash Arrows recently setting up plays across the map, so.
Absolutely we have. But no action here quite yet, and ROX is probably going to be pretty happy just to get the Rift Herald here and trade it out for the Drake. Considering it's only a Cloud Drake, and getting the Rumble in a better place to 1v1 versus the Trundle is always nice.
Yep. See Prey on his way toward that Yomu's Ghost Blade, double longsword in the inventory. Bang. Matching with the double longsword, so we'll be getting the Caulfield's Warhammer as the first item, not looking for something like the Hurricane or the Recurve Bow.
Okay, well, we do have an SKTelecom recall here and putting their duo on the top side. So actually, this is a fight over the Rift Herald, surprisingly. And I think that tells you a lot about Cloud Drake. Of course, Rift Herald, very valuable to Trundle as well, but no attempt to actually contest a Drake or to even go for it. And instead, they just send the Ashe straight back up. There is no ward there. They didn't send the deep ward, but they do have traps. So they are going to see that Ashe with the pink ward.
He was an inch from walking onto that thing before he plays the thing. So having a bit of a rough patch, gonna have to TP back to the tier 2 tower. Very intelligently sees that gank coming through with a ward in the river. So he will be able to make it out safe and sound, but TP's gonna be down, which gives a double teleport advantage over to the side of SKTelecom.
Yeah, that's really important. Now they can actually do something with this. Try and make a play perhaps. Where is this Trundle going to go? Are they going to go for the Rift Herald right now? SKT has that option to send everybody up, push the lane to the tier 2. And make that trade, which would be fantastic for Duke on the Trundle pickup. Vision going in right now for the ROX Tigers. It's like they may not be too bothered by this Rift Herald, as Smeb just going to go ahead and play patiently and take the jungle. He's not quite as gold dependent as many other top laners. We're back to the Rumble can still fight you very easily at level 6 with no items.
Right, taking a little bit. Smeb comes down, finds Blank, trying to take away this red buff.
Yeah, he doesn't know where Alistair is there.
Yeah, this is going to open up ROX to go for the Cloud Drake, and red will go over to Blank in the end of things. But they're keeping hold. Actually, no, reset comes through. So he's going to be sticking around for a while. This could give time for somebody like Brian to maybe pinch up and try to make something happen, but looks like they're just going to go ahead and surrender that over to the Gragas. They got what they wanted. They got the Cloud Drake, and I'm sure it's not what they wanted, but a second one will be awaiting us in 6 minutes.
Oh boy. Well, they'll be able to move really fast. And actually,
Gotta go fast.
with these compositions, Achilleos, 2 Cloud Drakes is a pretty substantial edge for creating picks. Worth noting, especially with a Jhin and an Ashe to get in position.
That's true. Wolf, one hit away from getting that concussive blows popped onto him. SKTelecom are able to get a significant amount of damage in onto the tier 2 and top, and now Duke is getting ready to crash the wave into the bottom side. We'll be peeling back, so not a whole lot of damage going to be coming through as Prey's there to answer the wave.
A lot of pressure from SKT, but they're not looking to dive or even really deny these waves. Prey is going to be able to pick up the majority of this CS underneath the turret, and the rest was gotten here by Smeb for the most part. So we're still looking at pretty even score lines and CS scores for the top laners.
Yeah, just going to be a little bit of gold separating so far. Coming out of that mid and bottom side. Prey's been rotating all over the place, so has been falling behind a little bit. Prey's going to get rooted. Faker jumps back with a distortion. Will come out on top of that trade.
Yeah, he's actually been growing a nice CS lead for himself, 18 right now. Being magnified here as they go ahead and grab that blue buff. Great vision from SKT in the top jungle. That's one thing, at least, that both Blank and Benki have been doing well. About the only, I would say, positive that I've seen out of their play recently, as harsh as that is.
Yeah, Smeb completely surrounded by that vision, so if he goes anywhere, tries to rotate down, they will know about it immediately. You can see SKT still being proactive, going to move over, we'll take this Rift Herald. So, going to give that one over to Duke, I would surmise. Yep, will be him, so
Your
increased pressure.
Your surmission was correct.
I'm so smart.
I'm pretty sure surmission is a word.
I actually don't know. I feel like it is, but I'm not positive. I'm not smart enough to know that one.
I actually don't know either, but it would be appropriate for.
Well, I don't feel bad if you don't know.
A surmising.
You were the
a surmising. Your surmising was correct. I don't know. I'm going to go with surmission.
Let's
it
go with
sounds
surmission.
It's more fun.
You can always just invent new words.
I know. I'm basically like Shakespeare.
Oh wow, Peanut going in, takes a big chunk of damage. Root will come through onto Faker. Bullets coming out, flashes away. We'll take a couple of these. Blank got a body block the rest, and ROX gives him a window to push in, get some good damage in onto this tier 1. Wolf now running up from the bottom side to try to answer. Faker dashes forward, will only get a little bit of damage in onto Gorilla. And now ROX could actually maybe get this tower. Faker has to go back, does have the teleport available, but it would be a very aggressive play. Cast comes out, still have a couple of those caster minions. Faker goes forward, gets some more damage in, but this turret's going to fall in the end. ROX, nice forward pressure, find another objective.
And that for both of these basically pick compositions is a huge feat right there, taking the mid turret early. And if we track what happened in the lane swap, so SKTelecom, of course, we have these long lanes at both the side lanes. So the pressure when SKTelecom put it down and got the minion waves to the tier 2s of their enemy, they used that time to go ahead and take the Rift Herald. Now we see the waves reverse. ROX uses that to group as 5 in the mid lane, take the mid turret. So effectively what we have to look at this is, strategically, is a trade of the Rift Herald for the mid lane turret. So bit of gold here, but what SKT is saying is, okay, we're not going to need that global gold. What we need is this Trundle to really start winning this 1v1 matchup and get a place where he's very far ahead. Now, that's a bit of a commitment to the Trundle in a matchup that is hard for him to farm in against the Rumble. So I don't know if that's the right trade, but ROX is going to just answer back with that mid turret, and we'll see who gets the next advantage.
Well, speaking of the Trundle, we can see splitting that build. Spectre's Cal coming in with the Tiamat. Assume that it's probably going to be the Titanic Hydra coming in. And then Smeb already completed the Proto Belt.
I'll see what he goes for next. He's probably just going to go for Magic Pen with the Haunting guys. And he has liked the Proto Belt, either with the Rylai's into Liandry's or with the Liandry's as a second item. So definitely a big glass cannon Rumble here, but there's just so much damage on the ROX Tigers. If they catch anybody out, they are going to be dead.
Yeah.
And we've seen this Jhin use this way so many times on the Sieges. Just open up with the curtain call, create a zone, poke out whoever's at that lane, and then just take the objective for free. So Peanut doing a very good job of rotating with the rest of his team with the ranged jungler. There's going to be a gank, though.
Oh, yeah, going in onto Smeb, who has no idea that this one's happening. Throws out the rocket to try to slow up Duke, but the pillar is there, and now Faker arriving. Can they interrupt this? The pillar's already been burned. They get him in time with the burst from the LeBlanc. First blood goes over to SKTelecom.
Yeah, no way you should use the TP there. You have you have a proto belt, right? There's not a lot of extra tankiness that's going to be afforded to you by your itemization. This is a pretty farmed LeBlanc at this point in time, so answer, though, going to be a play on the bottom side. And you know what? Both teams really sticking to their win conditions right now. When they took the Rift Herald, SKT committed to getting Duke ahead, right? That was their choice that they made in this game, and they stuck with it. Now he's even more ahead, gets the first blood gold with him, and they only have to use one teleport. Trundle's TP still available to match. Yeah. Smeb also burned his trying to escape, so there's more plays that they can use with this powerful Trundle now on the map, and that's what they've got to keep doing.
Yeah, and that's just a bit foolish there by the side of Smeb pushing that far forward with no vision in the river.
Yep, also going to deny a chance to really go after this Drake. So Cloud Drake, double Cloud Drake would have been immensely useful for them. Oh. And we're going to get a pause.
All right, the curse is alive.
Pauses for us all the time, Achilleos.
Yep,
we're the lucky ones.
It's okay. I have faith that this will be alleviated quickly. Looks like we might have a slight issue in the SKTelecom booth. Faker's upset that he didn't kill him even faster.
It's a good play, though, and you know, this is what we would like to see in very high-level League of Legends games, is that teams, when they make a decision, they follow through with that decision. Actually, a problem with Gorilla's computer, looks like. Looks like his keyboard maybe having some issues. When they make a decision, as I was saying, they follow through with that decision. They commit to it. They try and play that strategy through. They have a concept of how it's going to go in the game, and that's what we've seen SKT and the ROX Tigers do now. The response from the Tigers was to push hard into the Tier 2, but they couldn't get much from it.
Bang is focused.
Like a laser.
Doesn't care at all about this pause, is just ready to get back into the game.
Wow, that's a very intense look Bang has going on.
I mean, I know you're playing Ash and you have like a hawk shot, but you don't need to act like a hawk staring at your prey.
He's role-playing. He's role-playing the
staring at your prey. That was an inadvertent one. Didn't even think about it. Oh, dear.
Very nice.
But looks like Gorilla itching to get back into this one, so might just have to have a keyboard swap and get everything back underway. But so far, good play from both sides. Smeb just being the foolish one, stepping out of bounds a bit too much, but the Yomu's Ghost Blade has come in through 4 prey here, so that's going to be a nice little spike as he's going to start working towards that Dusk Blade. Can really start capping some fools.
That's right. That's what you do with the Dusk Blade. You cap fools. That's what I do with sword. I cap fools with my sword all the time. I just like hit him with it. I'm like, fool, you've been capped.
Now you have to throw it at them. You can anybody can hit somebody with a sword.
I hate it when people throw swords.
Only
in
badasses
movies.
can throw swords.
It tilts me so much. So, have you seen the Kenneth Branagh version of Hamlet?
No.
Okay. You know, Kenneth Branagh did a bunch of Shakespeare movies.
Okay.
And he did a version of Hamlet that's pretty famous. And at the end, there's some rapier throwing, and it's just awful.
Of all of the swords to throw, a rapier.
Yeah, it's really bad.
There's not much weight to that thing.
I mean, a lot of that movie's really good. It's a good version of Hamlet, but then they start the end scene where the big fight happens, and there's some rapier throwing, and it's pretty terrible. I don't know who would make that choice. Like, you're doing Shakespeare, can't you just stab a guy with it and call it a day? But no. Gotta throw it.
They're very thin blades. I feel like those wouldn't do well thrown.
It's pretty cheesy. You should watch it.
I guess you could kind of throw it like a javelin, but I don't know. Sounds like a bad idea overall, but you know what's a good idea? Getting back into the game, which we already are. So Gorilla having his issues taken care of by the look of it, and we will be able to resume. So that second Cloud Drake not yet being a point of contention. Wards in there for SKTelecom, as well as the Scuttle for the side of ROX. So they're keeping tabs on it. We'll make sure he's not going anywhere.
I don't think he's going anywhere. Well,
see, this is the folly of the Cloud Drake. We were calling them genetically superior because they evolved in such a manner that they were undesirable, but when there's nothing but Cloud Drake,
yeah,
they're going to get killed at some point.
That's why Cloud Drakes always have to be alone.
Yeah, they have to rest and live in an area that has other prey available to it to the Predators.
Yeah, they have to trick the other Drakes to go in there sometimes. You're right, otherwise it does fall apart. Well, SKT going to come in for an invade right now, trying to set up around this Drake. Smeb has actually walked into the mid lane at the moment. At least right now, ROX, since they still have a mid lane turret up, does have an easier time controlling the wave and making sure that it's past the river so that SKT has a harder time safely doing the Drake. And it looks like they're not even going to go for it. Smeb has to walk all the way back to the top side to get the minions right next to his turret. He is going to have a farm lead off of this, so not falling behind when it comes to CS.
Keep it up in that regard. You got to try to gain as much back as you possibly can, since Duke did get that first blood bonus. Figure goes back. Relanomicon's completed, as well as the Sorceress Shoes and a Negatron, so trying to mitigate as much as he can from the side of Cry. And Smeb, of course, who's going to be a very big AP threat. Figure goes in, arrow flashed away by Bryce. Still gets rooted by the chain. Figure comes over the wall with a flash exhaust, comes out from Gorilla, and they're popping him. Concussive blows, not going to get procced quite yet. He dashes away with the distortion, but here comes the curtain call. He's going to hit one onto the mirror image, finishes off the mirror image. That's going to be the equalizer laid down by Smeb, but they're not catching anybody outside of Wolf, who has that Alistar ultimate pop. So overall, not going to take a bunch of damage.
Still
Faker,
dangerous.
This would be very dangerous. And Faker, once they come back in, we can see the Dragon's going to be confirmed by Peanut. Root comes in onto Wolf. Can they capitalize onto this one? Flame Spitter thrown out by Smeb, but he just can't get in range, and Wolf will live to fight another day. But ROX coming out on top, finding that second Drake, but they do expend a lot for it.
Wow, Prey and Gorilla played that extremely well, and they did have to burn all 4 summoners for just the flash onto Faker right there. So Faker got the drop, forced the flash with the arrow actually, but a really heads-up play by Prey. Let's take a look at this. So Faker's going to get onto him and land the chains.
That was a
great flash. Great flash from Prey. And he gets over the wall. Gorilla there shows up with a flash on his own, realizing that Faker's going to try and finish Prey off. So great save from Gorilla. And they successfully turn this around to a point where they can actually get the Drake right afterwards. Drop the equalizer. Doesn't do a whole lot, but it is enough to chunk them out and to convince SKT that they don't want to sacrifice the game possibly for just a Cloud Drake. But you know, as much as we disparage Cloud Drake, Achilles, double Cloud Drake in this scenario with these compositions is very valuable.
Well, it's helping him close the gap on the Duke, that's for damn sure. He flashes away. Prey is on the roam up. The W not going to connect, but I don't think it even matters. Duke is going to go down overextended, just like his lane opponent was for that first blood. And that is going to be a kill going over to Peanut. ROX putting one on the board, keeping things nice and tight.
Yeah, and that's where it starts to really matter. That's where we see it, right? Because in these pick compositions where both teams want to make plays onto the side lanes very quickly with either the LeBlanc or the Jhin, basically, because the Jin's going to show up to zone people off of turrets and to deal the upfront damage with the armor penetration build and the curtain call to force people away from objectives. Getting there first and getting the pick down, very good. So ROX really with a 1-2 punch right there, taking the Drake and then immediately transitioning into a kill onto Duke, who they need to keep down in this game. So both teams really playing well so far and adjusting to each other's win conditions accordingly.
Yeah. Main concern, though, for ROX is going to be that they have a gold deficit and they're up that tower. Granted, they have committed and gotten one more objective globally compared to the Rift Herald. They have those 2 Cloud Drakes, but definitely need to equalize these. Count of the CS. Faker's going to get a rooted. The Mimic gets popped. Has he chosen the right one? He did, but he couldn't finish him off. Faker gets out with 30 health in the end of things.
Wow.
But what an opening there from Prey. Lining it up says, if you just start here, you're still going to go down.
Yeah, this has become an excellent game of just between Prey and Faker, honestly.
He wouldn't have had it anyway.
Yeah, he wouldn't have had it, but nice guess. And this game, man, it's about who can burst who down faster, so you really see the mind games taking hold.
Oh, arrow comes out. Prey, though, going to get popped backward by the cask, and that is going to be it. The Q from Blank, enough to finish him off. Nicely played, and Prey getting a little greedy, not retreating back under the tower.
He was seen by a ward. I mean, you can see that ward right there in the mid lane. Very sloppy, so Blank just picks up a kill right
now
afterwards.
Gorilla walking onto one. It's going to be the headbutt pulverize coming through.
They know Cask is down, though.
Oh, but the TP is going to be coming through very aggressive from Faker right into the thick of things. Nicely timed Glacial Fissure. Gorilla will still get rooted out, but has that Unbreakable up to block any more projectiles. And that should be the end of the aggression from both sides, but this could put SKTelecom in a good position to push in towards this mid turret, get some more damage down onto that structure.
Yeah, that actual layering right there. Uh-oh.
Faker's going in onto Cry, gets The double sigil pop, but can't land the chain, so he just has to snap right back out. But that's going to send the Azir packing, and now Prey is going to have to be the one defending. And we saw what happens when Faker meets Prey.
Yeah, he probably wants to go for a Maw as a second item here. Usually we've seen Prey or Arrow go for the Duskblade second, but he's going to need some protection because Faker's definitely gunning for him. Nice sidestep on the root right there. But as I was saying, great layering of the
Really chasing him.
Bard and Rumble ultimates in that choke point to prevent them from following up onto Peanut and Gorilla.
Yeah. Oh. Blank will be able to confirm the big Raptor. Smite to take that one away. Peanut just a little bit too early. But Cry going to be able to get this blue buff. Finally. Didn't get the last one as Peanut had to take it. So that'll be nice for him, but he's fallen behind. 22 CS down underneath the Faker so far. And has not contributed to a kill. So even more of a deficit as Faker has that one assist.
Yeah, he's not doing too badly, though. He did interrupt his Morello Namicon on this build to pick up the Negatron Cloak, so it was a little bit haphazard for a little bit, but he's starting to finally finish some of these items now.
SKT committing with 4 members into this mid side. You can see the burst coming through from the LeBlanc onto Peanut.
Yeah, he did it for free, too. No punishment on that whatsoever. Just popped right in and took Peanut down to 50% health. Prey still farming in the side lane. He's got to get out of there, though. Recall started. Is it going to be enough time? Looks like the answer is yes.
They know he's backing off. They can't close that distance, so they can't make it. Maybe if they had 2 Cloud Drakes.
I mean, seriously, yes. Like, this is one of those things when both teams are all about the collapse, double Cloud Drake really does matter.
Yeah.
So that's like the one time I've said that since the Elemental Drakes are introduced, but it is valuable in this scenario.
I love poking fun at it, but I'll be damned if it's not doing work for ROX and getting them out and into these different fights as we saw them get their first kill on that top side.
It's probably more valuable for SKT. Like, if they have 2 Cloud Drakes with the LeBlanc, the speed at which they could get across the map would be absolutely amazing. But it's still very good for the ROX Tigers here.
You can see, though, the damage coming through from that Jhin. Jumps Faker down about 30% just with a W. So you can only imagine what that last crit bullet would do to him. Faker's not going to stick around to find out. We'll go ahead and recall back. We'll see which way Prey wants to go. Just has the long sword. Could be shifting over to go for the Maul of Malmortius. Maybe even just get a Hex Drinker to start things off and then go for the Duskblade. But so far not showing a whole lot with that build. But my God, it was a 3rd Cloud Drake. ROX start this one up. It's going to be confirmed by Blank, however, in the end. W's not going to land. He goes over the wall with a flash. Turn call will find several shots onto him. Duke TP'd down, but hasn't found a way into the fight. And will, in all likelihood, just back off down this mid lane. But SKTelecom stopped the triple Cloud Drake from coming through, and they pick up one of their own. Yeah,
Blank bold to go in for that, but you would rarely see somebody sacrifice their, or potentially sacrifice their life for a Cloud Drake. But getting it onto SKTelecom so that at least they can match some of the speed is huge.
Oh, Faker goes in deep. Peanut taking a hell of a lot of damage. Lures on the land from Smite. Now Wolf caught out. The concussive blows come through, and he's going to fall. Smeb finding the kill with a Flame Spitter. And SKT have to rethink that one. Going way too deep and give up a kill onto the support.
Peanut played that so well. One of the keys to ROX composition working against the burst that this LeBlanc has is getting the Lamb's Respite down. And he flashed backwards to make sure that SKTelecom wouldn't go on top of it. And then, of course, the Glacial Fissure and the Equalizer coming out again to punish the dive. A little bit too aggressive there, and that's something that both teams have been guilty of in recent weeks has been SKTelecom and the ROX Tigers. They like going too deep. They like playing too far underneath some of the turrets and giving up unnecessary kills. SKT didn't play that as aggressively as we've seen in circumstances where, say, Faker dies, but still maybe a little bit too over-eager, considering that there are so many tools that the ROX Tigers have to trap them underneath the turret.
Yeah, that Lulu game comes to mind.
Yeah, that was bad.
That
was really bad, the flashing under.
Yeah. That was a very poor performance there by Faker. That whole series was pretty bad, but doing considerably better this time around. Burst damage still coming through, now has that Abyssal Scepter completed. We can see ROX waiting in the wings for Duke to come up to this top side, but think better of it. They're going to move back down and try to help Cry defend this turret that has been getting whittled away ever so slowly.
Well, it looks like it's going to be Duskblade, so Prey.
Okay.
He's really trusting Gorilla to be there with his hand on the trigger of the exhaust
So
in
far,
these
so
fights.
good.
You know, the Cry, you know, sometimes we would see maybe the mid laner consider taking exhaust in a situation like this also. So it's just one, and it's Gorilla, but Gorilla's been there so far.
Oh, they're going to open up here with the curtain
Oh,
call
wow.
straight into the equalizer burn. Bang down below half HP. Last shot will find Wolf take a hearty chunk off of him as he does not have the Alistar ultimate available. The W not going to find a route, so just going in to try to push SKTelecom back, but Duke is just sticking around on the top side, and he can get a very fast shove in towards that tier 2 tower.
They're sending both Kindred and Rumble up top now to try and deal with Duke.
Well, they do find him. There's on the pillar, and they won't be able to close that distance. So
Yeah, Cloud Drake.
can't catch me.
Yeah, now 3-1 would have been very difficult for Duke to ever split push in this game because of the long-range engage from the Tigers. But with one on their side, they're only one up now, the Tigers, so it's a little bit more manageable for SKTelecom. And taking a look at this blue buff at the moment, Faker would love to get his hands on that.
And it's going to be blank. Takes it away with the smite. Come on, man. I had the burst.
He'll get his own.
He just had to do that. Now he's angry. He goes over for prey. Won't be able to finish him off, but he does get the heal out of the Jhin.
He's just been pulling summoner spells.
Oh, wait. I think he did get it. I guess, did Blank have the other boot? I can't tell which one happened. Oh, no. Faker's is about to expire.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Faker had the previous one. Blank got the new one. That's what I thought happened.
All right. Cross-map play here from Peanut and Smeb. Smeb has his equalizer back up already.
Yeah, got to get him into combat. Getting on the Duke. There comes the equalizer. Duke has to flash out of it. And they continue this chase. So jumps over the Protobell. Actually dodges the arrow. Now they get right onto the Trundle and they take him down. Faker going to get interrupted by the Glacial Fissure. Has to dash away with the distortion. Snaps back. None of these bullets going to hit except for the last one. And it might be the only one that matters. He's got no HP. Here comes Cry. Can he close the distance? The flash is not available. Throws out the Sand Soldiers, but it doesn't matter. Faker makes it out alive. Meanwhile, on top lane, Peanut getting aggressed on by 3 members of SKT. Has a Lamb's Respite, but there's just no chance. He goes down. Blank finds that kill, and Faker miraculously making it out alive.
Well, this game hasn't been short on entertainment, Achilles.
No, it
just
has not.
Massive outplays. And we've seen so far in this game, TP coming through. Gorilla shows up, turns the corner, finds Faker. Then immediately, look at that communication. Curtain call starts, and it's just about dodging bullets for Faker. Gonna bite one, but he'll get out. The help of his distortion and the flash, which was still available. Notice how long he held that flash, too. He was very sure he wasn't going to die to that 4th shot. Or very lucky.
You know, I don't know which one it is, but with Faker, I'm going to chalk it up to skill.
Yeah, really scary there for Faker. Duskblade now complete for Prey, so his execution damage certainly going to be.
Oh, arrow comes out, finds Cry, but Faker wants to go straight on to Prey, has that chain connected. Cry goes in, gets the Emperor's Divide, but it's too late to save the life of his AD carry. TP still coming through from Smeb, but I don't know if they can really correct this mistake. Bang gonna take a bunch of damage, actually. Has to flash over the wall. TP gonna be matched now by Duke. Actually cancels it out the last second in the bottom lane. He'll continue that split push.
Yes, he will. Split push keeps on rolling here, and now no teleports left available.
Faker goes in on the Cry, gets a bunch of damage, and Cry has to back off. He dashes back with the distortion. Almost gets the kill in onto that Azir. Wow, Faker
Gorilla
is just playing so bloodthirstily right now.
I mean, he's playing great, but Gorilla, you have to commend him too. He's been there with the exhaust every time now, and also canceling that TP. So clutch, Gorilla's play.
Oh boy. Well, now this is going to be the Drake started up, but ROX can't contest, so Ocean coming over. And of course, 29-minute mark, it will be the Elder Dragon, the next one spawning for us. So 3 clouds and an ocean.
Definitely.
Some beautiful scenery.
Some beautiful scenery. Who doesn't like a bit of water and sky? I don't get to see that much these days, Achilles. Too busy inside casting esports.
Yep.
Someday I'll get a vacation.
Another Busan final.
That's right. I'd take that. That was great. I would definitely take that. So, really close game. 1,000 gold here at 30 minutes in.
Oh.
Arrow.
Yep. Not going to land.
Hard to hit that Azir, but without flash, a little bit of a better shot. Smeb now rolling into the mid lane. SKTelecom starting a split push, but they don't have TPs. To be a little bit careful. Mid lane turret still up, and that's one thing the ROX Tigers have done an excellent job of this game. is maintaining that hard point in the mid lane, because it really has limited the amount of potential picks that SKTelecom could get because their vision hasn't been able to go as deep. So it's been great. The use of the Azir turret to maintain that pressure has been extremely important here for the Tigers.
Yeah, Peanut, look at this, caught out unawares, can't even throw down the Lambs Respite. He's going to fall just way too aggressive into the side of SKT's jungle. Now Faker pinching in from the backside. Out, jukes him, will get rooted. Throws out the equalizer. Faker will be able to walk out of this one with his life, however, gets a shield from that locket. He stays alive. They find Peanut. Faker, the ever elusive, makes it out yet again.
Faker's LeBlanc play has just been exceptional in this game. It's been so good, as we come to expect. His last LeBlanc game was a disappointment.
It was very poor.
Disappointing. But this game certainly has not been. He's doing everything he can to help his team, and it's also been equally good from the Tigers in these team fights, just getting the exhaust down that they need to make sure that he can't get those kills. Also, just great preemptive flashing by Prey at times. So it's been a bit of a game of cat and mouse between Faker and Prey, and it continues here. Peanut in that last fight, the idea was right, but unfortunately, basically what he needed was his four-man group to push in the mid lane, and then he could counter jungle a little bit. He jumped the gun and got caught.
Oh, red buff going to get taken away. Blank is able to smite that one out. SKTelecom are starting to inch forward now with a 2,000 gold lead. Still nothing very significant here at the 31.5-minute mark, so definitely could go either way. Prey is still yet to invest into any sort of MR.
I think he's crazy. I'm so surprised he went for the Duskblade.
Yeah, this is a really scary build. Also went for the Dirk instead of just waiting out for the Hex Drinker, so it doesn't even get that minuscule shield compared to the Maw.
He's decided he's going to fight fire with fire, I guess. He has died a couple times, but he's also contributed a lot to taking objectives in this game. It doesn't really reflect on his score line.
Look at this. Faker, the shark, waiting in the brush.
He's going to go for it.
Going to go in with the distortion. Yomu's gets popped. Chain's not going to connect. He opens up with the curtain call. Peanut's coming around the side. He's not going to be able to land any of these bullets, but they do push Faker off. So just not connecting on that E, and the LeBlanc backs off.
Yeah, SKTelecom using their double TPs, though, to control the pressure on the map. Cry left alone in the mid lane versus this Ashe, and threat of Faker is very real.
Yep.
Does have not so much HP right now.
That is good, at least for Cry, because he was down pretty significantly in CS. Now he's closed that gap down to about 7. So that does help out, but Bang has been picking up all of the CS on the side of SKTelecom.
Well, that's the advantage of having the double TP, right? Is that you have a lot more options when it comes to farm. Also, the ROX Tigers are rightfully afraid of stepping too far out into the lane against this pick composition. The Ashe in the mid lane does threaten both of the side lanes with arrows, and Jhin obviously doesn't have a wealth of escape mechanisms. He doesn't have that flash out.
Oh, he's got the Hex Drinker now. Wow, okay. That was an interesting interaction. Cry gets popped away, goes right back in. Cast gets used by Blank, not able to create a pick, and ROX are going to just hold firm in this mid, try to defend this turret as long as they possibly can. It's only down to about 50%, so they still have a decent little bit of HP on that structure to work with, but if Bang can walk up and get some hits in, he will shred that tower. Already has 3 items completed with the Essence Reaver, IE, and Hurricane. And now with this wave coming in, SKT look to get the damage, and Faker goes in deep, finds Peanut. Lamb's Respite comes down immediately. Can they answer a kill on the Faker? He gets locked up by the concussive blows, but it's actually the Mimic as he just escapes into the back. Wolf now going low. They can proc this. They will get the root bullets opening up with the curtain call. Arrow from Bang, not going to interrupt Prey in the end. The 4th shot goes wide. Prey finds one onto the Alistar, and the fight continues. Bang taking a bunch of hits from those Sand Soldiers, but Faker comes in the backside, finds a kill, a double at that. Gets taken down by Prey, and the skirmish continues. ROX down to 2 members, both of them extremely weak. They have to peel back and surrender this tower in the end, more than likely. But wow, Faker going in deep in the backside, finding a double kill.
He died for it, but it was definitely a worthwhile trade.
Oh,
back in, and Prey overextending here.
Has the flash available, but is it even worth using? Blank's there. He's going to hold on to this one, and he will fall in the end. Blank finds the kill, and Prey overstaying pace for that one yet again. All in all, I believe that's a 4 for 3 or 4 for 2 in favor of SKTelecom.
Yeah, and Faker comes in, tries to get the damage down on Peanut, forces the Lamb's Respite early, which is actually very important. And as you say, he's the Mimic that was actually stunned by the concussive blows right there.
So quickly that I didn't even notice that at first.
I didn't even notice it either. So here's the arrow. Does just, oh, it hit Peanut anyway. Wow, looked like the hitbox was not going to land on that one. So a bit of a lucky arrow, but watch Faker come back in through the Raptor pit and then get the sigil down to also kill Gorilla.
And then he takes the final crit shot for 834 to the face from Prey. But wow, that is a trade that SKTelecom would happily take any day, I think.
Yeah. So Prey again, as you said, afterwards getting caught out, trying to push the wave, and one recall was very sloppy by him next to a ward in the mid lane, did cause a death to Blank and died a second time.
Yep, oh, he comes in, gets immediately hit by the Winner's Bite, but still chunks Gorilla down below half HP. Wolf goes into the headbutt, pulverized, Root comes through, finds Duke, he gets popped up now by the Glacial Fissure. The Sand Soldier's not doing a whole lot. The Curtain Call not really connecting. ROX just holding on to this tower for dear life. It's just a hit away by Bang to go down. The double from Prey not going to connect onto Faker, and SKT will be able to claim this turret as their own.
They did protect it for 36 minutes, which is pretty damn impressive from the ROX Tigers, but eventually it must fall as they chunk out the members of the Tigers. Now they're going to try and go for the tier 2.
Oh my god, Faker actually pops Peanut! Going over the wall, finishes him off with the chain, and now Prey, no man's land, he's going to go down. 2 kills now picked up for SKTelecom. Cry near falling as well, has to back off, and SKT are just taking over this game.
Yeah, they are. Faker just doing Faker things this game. Incredibly impressive LeBlanc control, just turning the tides of what was a very close game, but now they take 2 mid lane turrets, they take out Bray, they take out Peanut, and they will take out the Baron.
And there's just nothing that ROX can do to answer this, and SKTelecom, after a very back and forth, a tiptoe game between these two teams, SKT has finally found firm ground to stand on, and they are taking control of the Rift, now having a 5.4 thousand gold lead in their favor, up 6 kills, a turret, and even in Dragons, now with the Baron in their inventory, going to be looking for this Elder Dragon to really help seal the deal on this victory.
Now Gorilla has to be careful. Take a bit of damage right there, but has the Sand Soldiers to protect him, and SKT just going all in. Elder Dragon, are we going to see the contest?
The
arrow will swing a little bit wide. I think SKT shouldn't commit to this.
Yeah, looks like they're going to go ahead and back off. We can see the recall coming through Wolf.
If they just stood there, the Elder Dragon takes so long to do that it would have given ample time for them to be poked out by Azir and Jhin. Just need to back off right there. Just use the Baron buff. You can always go back to it later. See if you can crack the base. But SKTelecom, sure, they've got a 5,000 gold lead, but they don't have a great way to end this game. Their siege is very poor with the LeBlanc and the Ashe. So unless they get a pick or get some poke damage down, they're going to have a very hard time. So, and obviously poking underneath when the enemy is underneath the turret as LeBlanc carries a pretty large amount of risk with it. May not want to actually go there, and ROX is very good at kiting with this composition.
Yeah. See though, Blank getting called out in the jungle, still very safe on the Gragas, has that Guardian Angel completed. Double Dead Man's played on the side of SKTelecom, as Duke has one, and now another GA comes through. So, you mentioned that if ROX catches somebody, they'll be able to burst them down, but not anymore, it would seem, unless they can get somebody on the lower half of the standings.
Yeah, we also do have to question a bit the Tigers' lack of MR in this game. Smeb has decided to go for Azonius next, which does make sense. I mean, he doesn't have MR, but can evade some of the burst from Fakers, and Faker just be a frontliner turning gold Flame Spitter on. But yeah, maybe you...
Oh,
wow, nice
one more.
accuracy.
Can he get it? Oh, flashed away there by Faker. Will keep him safe, and he gets out of that equalizer at the same time, and SKTelecom on the other side of the map finish off the Elder Dragon.
Yeah, that's going to be a very important recall to buy, though, because Elder Dragon only a minute and a half, so they don't have much time to work with, and they just bought quite a bit unless Faker wants to use his TP right now, which I don't think he does, but that basically carved off about 30 seconds off of the Elder Dragon timer.
Still, ROX losing these structures around the map now. All of the outer turrets have fallen. So that bottom one got burned through now. SKT continuing to push onto this bottom side. Have the Baron empowered minions. Finger coming around the side, looking for a pick. Finds Smeb, gets a good chunk of damage in on him. Won't be able to confirm the kill, but SKT will be able to confirm this tower take and the inhibitor to follow, as ROX has to answer that wave crashing in mid. So SKT very well set up now with a near 10,000 gold lead 40 minutes in to close out game one. Minions pushing forward, Smeb trying to clean them out as best as he can with that flame spitter, but he just can't get close enough to those cannon minions.
Yeah, it has to be a game of patience here from the ROX Tigers. They can't lose anybody. They should be able to clear out these minion waves. They have tools like the equalizer to use if they have to.
It's about to come up.
Yeah, it's about to come up.
Can't tell a curtain call because spectator on that is still bugged. But I believe Prey will have that one soon. But in the meantime, the second inhibitor in the mid is falling, and SKT are just making so much back off this Baron, which is just about to expire.
Yeah, even Blank this game, showing up at least some of these team fights and punishing Peanut and Prey. And there are two factors, I think, that have gone very well for SKT in this game. One of them is Faker being astounding on this LeBlanc pick. And the second is they caught Prey and Peanut in really silly places on the map, and that actually helped them build up a nice gold lead. And that was pretty much Faker and Blank's doing. So definitely Blank showing an improved performance, at least in game one of this series, and Peanut just trying to counter jungle when he didn't have any business doing so, dying in the process, and Prey recalling or trying to clear waves in unfortunate positions, getting caught out a couple times too.
Yeah. Rushing the Mortal Reminder over the Maul of Mount Morty is definitely pretty questionable there by the Kindred. Finger goes in. God, look at that. Just even the double distortion taking Smeb down below half HP. He's going to have to retreat. Oh, the arrow connects. Can they find a pick? Glacial Fisher gets thrown out, but a nice cast from Blank knocks him in straight into a pulverize from Wolf. Lamb's Respite comes down. Bryce sends the Sand Soldiers forward, trying to get some poke damage in. ROX will be able to retreat safely. They have that sand turret up to help deter these Super Creeps that are going to be pushing into the mid side, but SKT still very healthy, have that Ocean Drake at their disposal, so they will be safe to regen up.
Blank gonna dodge out of a possible root coming through right there, bit dangerous. Tigers now moving into the top lane to defend their final
안녕하세요, 락스프레이입니다. 제가 4년 동안 프로게이머를 했는데 진짜 말도 안 되는 거예요. 너무 억울해요. 스맵 MVP 1위라뇨. 스맵 MVP 1위라뇨. 형들 이거 마음 불편해?
한 프로 불펜러의 이 억울한 호소 영상은 그렇게 일파만파 퍼져만 갔다. 난 잘한 죄밖에 없는데.
뭐 제가 뭐 다들 아시다시피 뭐 저런 뭐 제가 못한다고 생각하십니까? 저 프레이예요. 아시잖아요. My name's ROX Prey.
여러분, MVP의 뜻이 뭡니까?
MVP?
Most Valuable
Most Valuable
Player. 최고의 가치. 그게 바로 저죠. 스맵.
Most Valuable Prey. Prey. 제가 뭐 KDA가 딸립니까? 딜량이 딸립니까? 도대체 뭐가 딸립니까? 제가 또 에로에게 3대 미나 아닙니까?
프레이 선수가 에로의 판에서 사실 3대 미남 정도 들어가잖아요. 아니 프레이 선수의 잘생긴 얼굴을 보고 있노라니 잠깐 제가 넋이 나가서
제가 제일 황당한 건 슈퍼플레이를 해도 안 준다는 거예요. MVP를
야, 이게 지금 다 깨고 있어 이거.
더 가죠. 더 가죠.
그때 제가 백도어도 했고 루시안한테 화살도 꽂았고
자, 한번 수정하다 보세요.
네가 안에 꽂아줘.
이거 약간 가로. 기아로 치는 거야.
두루룩.
네.
자, 누가 죽이시?
럼블백도.
이거는 그냥 다 죽어도
럼블백도.
백도어를 끝내겠다. 백도어 성공.
네, 손흥민의 MVP 스맵입니다.
럼블 스맵만의 카드라고 볼 수 있는 상황에서 네, 사실 두 번째 경기는 MVP를 다른 선수가 받아도 됐을 것 같거든요.
그래 나.
피넛 선수가 받았으면 좋지 않았을까 싶어요.
그런가요?
저는 몰랐어요.
기가 막히네.
프레이 선수는 아직 좀 더 연습이 후다열.
아우.
제가 MVP 1위잖아요. 1위로서 MVP 받는 방법 살짝 이렇게 알려드리면은 일단 뭐 여러 가지가 중요해요. 뭐 KD 뭐 이런 것도 중요하지만 뭐 어떤 챔피언을 골라서 어떤 식으로 플레이하냐, 어떤 식으로
아니 스킬 적중률이 일단 말도 안 되고요. 어디서 어떻게 쏴야 되는지 아니 커튼콜 타이밍 위치 다 예술이에요.
너무 좋아요. 손흥민 MVP 진종이.
재밌는 게 이제 이 두 선수가 MVP를 이렇게 동시에 받은 적이 있었나라는 생각이 들 정도로 굉장히 오랜만이거든요.
지금 혼자 있을 때는 되게 잘 나라더니 오늘 되게 조용하네요.
이거 이렇게 금방 따라온다고? 대단한데.
2라운드 MVP 두고 봐 형. 훅 가는 건 한순간이잖아.
Welcome back. Your MVP was Faker. Sorry, Prey. Didn't make the cut this time. But Faker's LeBlanc certainly did. 8-1-4. And boy, did he just roll over everybody.
Yeah, he did. Absolutely. In just very impressive play, obviously, on this LeBlanc. He escaped so many times with double-digit
This one,
HP.
I mean, holding a flash for as long as he did here was absurd.
Yeah. It's getting back on his distortion, getting the second distortion in, getting hit by it, then popping back, who's baiting Gorilla over, and then saving the flash for the end there.
It's just absurdly good play here from Faker. We'll see multiple deletions coming through. One there. This one here. On to Peanut. Just didn't even have a chance to pop the lamp through. Spite goes down. We missed the double one that happened around the mid
That was
lane.
actually probably the best play of the game, honestly. Coming back in to pick up the double kill after he'd been chunked out by Prey already.
Can't show that one because he dies.
I don't care. It was still super good.
No, it was definitely the best play that he did this game, and it's looking like Faker, you know, after that last game in LeBlanc, kind of besmirched the name. So had to come back in, prove himself, prove that he still got it. He's still Faker.
Wow, very impressive. That video was great. By the way, you can see the ROX Tigers like sort of live in a suburb house. I'll get to that as soon as we see Kuro, I guess.
Yeah. We weren't sure if it was going to happen, but Kuro coming back in over top of Cry. I think I kind of agree with you. I think Cry did do pretty well. He played the Azir okay. He never got the opportunity to make a massive Emperor's Divide play. He was suffering a little bit in the lane though, but ROX deciding that it's time to put Kuro back in, throw this boy to the wolves, and see if he can come out on top.
And that means that ROX is going to have to ban Azir, this is how I thought they'd play them in the last series, Achilles. I thought in the first round robin they would play Cry in the first game, Kuro in the second game, but instead they put in Kuro on the red side and Cry on the blue side, which was weird because you think, okay, well, you'd want to ban the Azir if you're playing Kuro, which is more of a blue side ban. So this Kuro can't play it, so why not just go ahead and get that out of the way? They are doing that strategy this time around. But yes, as I was about to say, you see that like suburb house of theirs?
Yeah.
So most teams live in very large apartment buildings here in Seoul. The ROX Tigers moved to their own like separate house, and then they put the gaming room in the basement because they are so loud as a team that they were like, previously when they were in apartment buildings, they were upsetting their neighbors. So they're trying to be courteous, but the ROX Tigers known for being just incredibly raucous as a team.
I mean, we can't hear them, but we can see them on camera during the game, and they definitely are yelling at each other from time to time. Always friendly yelling going back and forth, but certainly does carry a certain volume with it. We can see, though, pick and ban coming out Rise LeBlanc so far from the side of the ROX Tigers, and it will be Vladimir that gets banned, so Azir not going to be taken off the table.
Interesting.
Meanwhile, it's a jungle focus heavy from SKTelecom. They banned Shen in game one. Will he do it again here with their last ban?
I wonder if they are worried about the Tigers potentially first picking the Shen. Sivir goes through this time also. So that should be a major pickup, one of Bang's historically best champions. And they are going to ban the Sivir.
Okay, take that one off the board.
Karma's still up.
Karma's still up. The
all
Shen's
the way
still
through
up.
picks and bans. And I guess it's just pick Ashe first tonight.
All right. Well, Prey has been the one that started this trend, as he does with so many champions. So he'll be trying the Ashe yet again this time, and we can see the instant hover over this Azir. And Kuro is probably being asked to be tagged out.
Yeah, well, we'll see what Kuro has in store.
I mean, I don't know if Kuro's been playing Natalia as much as Faker or Cry has been, but if he has, I mean, we saw last night Natalia really crushing it from Shy onto the Azir of Kuzan.
I tried to check that, but I actually don't know what Kuro's current ladder account is, so I could not do that before the matches.
All right, well, going to be a revisit to the Gragas here for Blank, who had a very good performance in that first one. So it's not broke, don't fix it. We'll go back to that pick, and Faker redeemed the LeBlanc, now going to be looking to redeem the Azir.
I like the strategy again, though, of the ban Nidalee and Elise and play Gragas early on that we're seeing from SKT. They get it in both sides of the draft. So onus now on Peanut to really switch things up. I think an early Trundle may be useful here.
No way.
And I don't know about this. If Kuro's going to play anything wacky, yeah, I think it's going to be Talia.
Yeah. We saw this matchup last night. We're going to see it tonight as well. Talia coming in. Now all we need is an Ohm Wrecker.
That's right. Lots of Ohm Wreckers on our split-pushing Trundles these days. Now, the Talia pick yesterday, yes, it was a Jin Air match that we saw it played in. It was Blanc in the first game playing with the Azir against the Talia of Sky. And this Talia did get solo kills.
It was Blanc.
It was Blanc in game 1. It was Kuzan in game 2, where Kuzan played Victor. So this game, we'll see how well Faker can do against the Talia that looked very strong yesterday against the Azir, but this is still a very new matchup at the professional level. Keep our eyes on it to see how exactly this is going to go. So Karma and Ezreal, classic picks here for SKT. Of course,
heavy poke.
Yeah, Trundle definitely.
Oh, maybe not.
Okay. Go for the Alistair again. That's a little bold before seeing what the Ashe is going to be paired with. You could have problems if it's, say, an Ashe Karma lane.
Yeah, and that's not going to get a whole lot done in a 2v2, that Alistar and Ezreal. Not a whole lot of kill pressure.
No, tough lane, to say the least. Now, Gorilla historically has played a lot of Trundle support, but he's only played it once this season.
Yeah, it's been such a staple in the top lane. I'd be very surprised if we saw that come out, but
Yeah, do it,
it is
Play
it's
the
very
jungle,
possible. He keeps hovering that Pantheon. That has me curious, but it is going to be the Hecarim, which means that it will be a support Trundle as well. So, wow, big front line for ROX Tigers here.
Huge.
Hecarim, Shen, and a Trundle.
Also,
that's going to be really hard to get through, but look at this. It's another Gangplank, our third GP so far. And now Duke is going to try it out.
Yeah, Duke should be able, obviously, to play the GP very well. Both Smeb and Duke, excellent laners. And we did see at least the GP start to impress us a little bit earlier this week when ADD from MVP crushed with it. So people seem to think that it is an answer in the 1v1 to Shen and has an ability at least to match the Stand United with the Cannon Barrage, so at least you have some form of global. Now, ROX Tigers here going big with the globals, Achilleos, and they should be able to make some very interesting plays. Of note is that the Talia ultimate, since it functions as a wall, Hecarim can show up and then ult over the other side of it to engage on people. So you can actually cut your own jungler off and still have him join in some of these team fights with the Onslaught of Shadows. So it does actually open up a lot of options to cut people off, try and engage yourself. Gragas can obviously get it through it as well. Body slam, but we'll see how exactly this plays out. Still 2 teleports taken by the Tigers in addition to the Stand United, and the speed of the Shen should be very interesting. And this is one of those teams that you really want to see play Talia because they are aggressive, they like to dive, and they like to make aggressive cross-map plays, so it should be exciting.
That should be. If it's anything like Game 1, I'm all on board. Let's go ahead and get right into Game 2, SKT versus ROX Tigers. All right, Mountain Drake.
All right, what I want to see, Achilleos, is Kuro riding the wall with a Shen ult on him. That's what I want to see.
That actually has a lot of potential. I didn't even think about that combination.
Yeah.
That could be pretty crazy.
It could be really crazy, especially if you follow up on, say, an Ashe arrow. Kuro going to use that threaded volley there, try and harass Faker early, but will miss. Poor Kuro.
These are very like-minded mid laners. Both of them want to build walls. One of them uses indentured servants and soldiers to do so. The other one just calls to the earth.
Is that right? So sand and earth right here we've got going on?
Yeah. I mean, technically, it makes sense that Talia wins this. She's like the firmer, more solidified rock.
Yeah, but
Whereas
the rock will
sand
just
is
go
just-
through the sand and then reform into a sand soldier, see? It's actually immune to the rocks.
My God, you're correct. Huh. All right, we need a...
Can't Talia just control the sand soldiers, though? That's the better question.
We need a paper champion that can trap Talia, can wrap himself around her, and then she can't do anything. Because if my 5th grade, or earlier than that, my kindergarten knowledge of rock, paper, scissors means anything, that's how you win that matchup.
Nice. All right. Well, hopefully Riot will sort that out eventually. I'm sure they're really excited about a paper-themed champion.
I mean, why not? Got some other weird ones in there. Gotta be running out of run out of ideas eventually.
Do they really have weird champions? I don't know if I think ripping off Avatar: The Last Airbender is weird.
What? That's not. No, come on. That's not. That's Talia.
It's
not Toph. It's Talia.
Oh, sorry.
They both begin with T, but that's where the likeness ends. Yeah, I don't know. I have nothing to say about that one.
There's nothing. There is no response. Well, we are going to get standard lanes this time, so this is going to be the test. So, as we saw in the last game, I think Hecarim's a great champion for Peanut to play against Blank because there's virtually no threat of any kind of early playmaking from him as a player. So why not just go for the super big-time scaling jungler here and then play for those team fights? And team fighting, again, pick potential absolutely huge for the ROX Tigers in this game. They have just a plethora of globals and the speed from the Hecarim to make it into the ganks. Meanwhile, SKT, Duke has been doing a good job of zoning out Smeb from some of this CS, and Peanut has just taken a very long journey towards this gank.
Yes, he has, but he's going to go in. Flash taunt on to Duke, who flashes away, has that barrel there, gets a little bit of damage in onto the Shed, but he is going to go down in the end of things. Peanut coming up with first blood. Nicely played, getting that Hecarim rolling.
Yeah, and Peanut made a voyage all the way across the map to make that gank. So, a bit unexpected for sure. Blank going to try and steal away a crab.
Oh, Peanut's taking a lot of damage. Faker comes over the wall. Of course, the Ghost is not available for the Pony, but he's going to be safe. Kuro, though, getting engaged on now. The body slam, slow coming through. He flashes out. Blank flashes forward. Kuro's going to go down. Just not where he was supposed to be.
Kuro should have flashed much earlier there. He should have flashed before that slow barrel came out. He's a little grin on his face.
So this is how it's going to be.
He knows he done goofed. But yeah, that a little bit too aggressive positioning right there to try and save Peanut. Peanut also very close to a brush in the river while doing that scuttle crab. So easy for Blank to surprise him.
Yep, that's going to make things considerably more difficult for him. You can see he's coming back in, just going to have the double Doran's ring to start things off. Try to not lose any. CS did use that teleport, and Smeb will use his right now.
Yeah, he'll be hitting 6 relatively soon anyway.
Well, Prey going to get engaged on Wolf coming in, looking for that headbutt. Pulverize decides to go straight over onto Gorilla instead. He's still a pretty tanky Trundle, has his minions dying around him, but they'll trade back and forth. Looks like SKT are going to be coming out a little bit on top of that.
Blank found a pink ward right as it was dropped. Nice little bonus right there. Looked like they were trying to set up that pink ward. If we notice right now, Kuro is about to hit level 6. And so if he had that pink ward there, there's a possibility he may have been able to gank into the top lane when Prey hit 6 too. So it looked like to me they were trying to get some preemptive vision down to set up for a couple minutes down the road, but Blank will snuff out the ward right as it's placed.
And that's a nice little denial. 100 gold out the window for Kuro. Smeb trying to trade back in here with Duke, but we can see that Gangplank starting to come out on top. Has that true damage on the swings after killing the barrels. So.
Yeah. Also went for a cull, so even though he got ganked for the first blood, he decided to get a little bit greedy. Picked up the cull and it's going to be slowly scaling against Smeb.
That does give Smeb a little bit of a window then to rush to get that Sunfire Cape in and mitigate as much damage as he possibly can. But the fact that he's losing those trades out right now with just the call in the inventory for Duke is definitely a little bit worrisome. But he is the one that can make that global difference with the Stand United. Peanut now taking this.
Blank being a jerk.
Thank you very much.
And he's got a really big farm advantage over Peanut right now because of Peanut's both the gank and the recall that he had to do by running through that mid lane. So Blank doing a good job of harassing Peanut early on. And Hecarim bit slow to start as a jungler. Looks like Peanut will be going for a Phage first. Wants to gank yet again. Still only level 4.
They see the roam down, I think, from Kuro, so Duke knows to back off. Don't think he knew about Peanut.
Hello.
Oh, here we go. You wanted it. Stand United gets used with the wall. They're going to ride that one in, and now Duke in a bad spot against 3 members. Again, a barrage is going to be used, looks like, to try to push the wave. Question is who's going to get the kill. It will be Kuro, giving that one over to the Talia. And ROX execute another gank.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Duke did not expect the Stand United to be used on him while he was in the lane with the Shen. So, a bit tricky coming through, but Kuro finds that opportunity, and that's what, you know, when I saw this champion come out, take a look at her kit, and you start to see these things like global speed, and you know it's going to be used at a professional level if it's even remotely viable in the laning phase.
See, now the thing is, I want to see one that is mistimed. So Talia is just jetting along trying to get to like the top lane, and then the Shen just gets booted off somewhere in the river.
Or it's even worse. I mean, if she takes damage, she gets knocked off. So she just like gets hit by like an Ash arrow halfway through. It just like stops in the jungle, and then somebody trying to help gank gets killed. Could be bad.
Well, Blank is pushing in for another steal. Not going to find it this time. Throws out the cask, actually, just blindly.
It's a celebration
trying to get
cask.
that one. Yeah. You got a blue buff. Congratulations.
Have some wine.
Yeah. Let's all get groggest up.
Is that what you say? Groggest up?
That's what I'm going to say on broadcast.
Okay. I'm pretty sure if Gragas can get drunk in the game, we can talk about getting drunk on stream, Achilles.
Fair enough. I guess his W is called Drunken Rage. So.
Yes. Yes, it is. It's very clear that he's drunk. Also, if you play him and his slurring of words.
He's a very economical man when it comes to joining in, though. He only wants to drink with you if you're paying for him.
That's right.
So
well, you know he's going to drink with you if you buy it. He may also drink with you if you don't. We don't know the answer to that question.
There is a toss-up. That is true. Probably not if you're on the enemy team. Unless, actually, that's not true. Because he could probably get you really intoxicated. You can't perform, and he performs better when he's intoxicated. So, okay. It's the smart play.
So Figure doing a good job of playing around the worked ground zones with his own Sand Soldier zones to sort of limit Talia's options when it comes to farm. So Figure doing much better, looks more comfortable in this matchup than we saw Blanc yesterday when he played it into Sky. Placement of the Sand Soldiers, just deterring any kind of poke from the threaded volley.
Yep. Oh, tries to steal away the Gromp. Not going to happen. Figure, though, however, will get his blue buff. So it's going to be an immense amount of harass coming down on top of the Talia, who only has the boost of swiftness so far.
Yeah, awkward position, too, because basically it's hard for her to trade right now with the threaded volley because all of the ground in front of her turret has already been worked. It's tricky to try and poke Faker off right now. Looks like we will be going into potentially an Abyssal Scepter is the next item. Usually what we've seen from a lot of these Talias, or the one Talia, a lot of these Talias, the one Talia we've seen has been emphasis on Rylai's as well.
These Talias.
All one guy who played it. Of course, it has been played in other regions, most notably by Rookie over in China, but it's been very limited, the Talia that we've seen, but I expect, especially when we get to patch 6.13 and later on, to see more of her.
That was just the perfect time for her to get buffed.
I forget, because I forget if I read the PBE notes for 6.14 or if it was on 6.13 that she was buffed, but there are some pretty significant buffs coming, it would appear.
Yeah. The Talia players are going to be very happy. I saw in the post-game thread from yesterday, everybody was just like, nothing to see here. Talia's fine. Not overpowered. Don't touch her, please. Shadows gets used, surfing in onto that Weaver's wall. Comes Kuro, and they pick up a very swift kill onto Duke yet again. Just going to be giving him the direst treatment down in that bottom side. Camping the hell out of him and getting Kuro ahead where they can. Because the gold he picks up from these kills is going to be very crucial in equalizing that deficit that's built up between Faker and himself. This Faker is now up quite a bit.
Yeah,
but Faker's actually going in, pushes him the wrong way. Actually trying to push him into Blank. The Stand United comes out.
Wow, what a combo.
Wow, he will actually make it out alive.
Yeah, through the standing knife, Shen isn't even able to complete his teleport right there because they kill Kuro so quickly. Kuro tried to use his flash, but
Peanut
Faker
comes over, but Faker is able to dash
so
out
ready.
just in time. He was very well prepared for that.
Had a ward.
Had the ward, yeah, near the Raptor camp, saw him coming, predicted the onslaught of shadows, and dashes away successfully. I thought that was, you know what? I should just never doubt Faker. I thought it was a misplay, pushing him in toward the tower. But Blank was there to pick up the pieces and help him solidify that kill, and Faker makes it out yet again with barely any HP remaining.
Wow, good play too on the back end of that. Just the escape yet again. He's escaped so many times with 100 or less HP so far in these games. See it once again. So back in late now, at least he's making his presence known on the opposite side of the map. So Duke has been punished for that. And, you know, it's interesting. Normally you would see Shen teams try and play away from the Shen and use that stand united, but in this
playing
game,
right in his lane.
playing right in his lane, but you can do that because of the Talia here, because you can use the stand united at a very short distance very effectively.
Oh, Dash Arrow gets thrown out. Wolf going to answer with his own ultimate. Will keep himself safe. Faker was there to back him up, so wasn't in much danger to begin with.
At least the Shen has gotten a respite in this bottom side. A few assists, now a nice CS lead, and that's slowing down the Trinity Force, the build of this GP. And we've seen the GP these days, and the crit, not so much a factor anymore. Usually we see Yomu's Ghost Blade after the Trinity Force. So about armor penetration and cooldown reduction with the changes to the T-Force these days.
Yep. Drake's been started up here by SKT. There's no vision from the side of ROX, and it looks like they're not even looking to check this. And now a recall coming through from Smeb. He's got TP top.
Yeah, ping immediately by SKT onto the teleport in the top lane, watching for that one, somebody on that top side of the map, and so they will just pick up a Mountain Drake right now. Nice to have, especially with the speed at which you can do the Baron with the Azir.
Yeah. Very strong pickup, and now Kuro backing yet again. See what he's going to be going for in a little bit here. Has makings of an Abyssal so far. He's actually stopped the back. There's two members of SKT wrapping around the backside. Faker has Emperor's Divide available. Kuro going to try to retreat up the top side, but here comes Faker, knocks him in. Stand United is there. Is it enough to keep him alive this time? Smeb just come through the cannon barrages there. Blank hot on the heels of this Talia. He pushes him away though, and now Gorilla arrives. Throw down the pillar. Faker is gonna fall. Gorilla finds the first kill. Onslaught of Shadows goes Peanut. He finds another one, and Wolf, with no Alistar ultimate available, will still be able to limp his way out of the fight, but a nice turnaround from the ROX Tigers.
Wow, Smeb is so fast at those stand uniteds. Kuro tried to outplay that one by using the Weaver's Wall there to block him off, but everybody from SKTelecom says, all right, you're away from their turret. We're happy to go towards ours in return. So a few flashes used by Faker and Wolf to try and set up that play. But
now Bray gets the arrow on to Bang. One more hit will do it. He flashes in. He gets the kill, and ROX are up 6-2.
Even with both summoners up from Bang, Duke is on the pursuit here.
Duke's chasing. Here comes a headbutt pulverize on to Bray from Wolf, who arrives just in time. They will confirm the kill. Gorilla, unable to do anything, had to use all of his summoners and his ultimate in that mid lane fight, which we'll take another look at now.
Yeah, and he already has the boulders on the other side too, waiting to explode, so a good setup here from Kuro. And they just don't quite have enough damage to burn through the Shen ult. Even though the cannon barrage goes down a little bit late, it has to be said from Duke. That could have been set up sooner and maybe positioned a little bit better on that engage. So Smeb just there faster, and then the reaction from Gorilla and Peanut to clean up the other couple of kills. Very nicely done.
Yeah, it's a good seismic shove as well, but oh, look at this Kuro getting engaged on yet again in the mid lane. Faker dashes forward, but Peanut arrives. He's really low on this Hecarim, still goes forward. Gets the heal out from Faker, who has to get out of here. Smeb not going to be able to get in range for the taunt, goes back in for Blank, who gets popped near that turret. Now Bang arriving. This could be really bad for ROX. A triple knockup on the pulverize by Wolf. Smeb looking like he's going to go down, and he does. And ROX just sticking around too long in the mid lane. Fire back another kill over to SKTelecom, and we are just 200 gold apart on both of these teams.
Yeah, another very close early game between the teams, back and forth as each team tries to punish each other for the aggressive plays that they're making. It's been pretty successful. Duke is going to get a little bit of time here to farm out in the top side, and Duke actually used his TP to catch out Prey in the bottom side after he solo killed Bang.
Yeah, they got the mid turret off of that whole thing too.
Yeah.
So it was very nicely picked up by ROX. Now we can see Kuro coming up to this top side. The turret's going down. He's waiting for Peanut to arrive, who does have that onslaught of shadows. Here comes the ultimate, cutting him off. Duke is getting used to this trend now. Doesn't have a flash available though, and very few hopes left in the world. Cannon Barrage not going to keep him alive, and Kuro comes up with his third kill, all of which have been onto Duke.
Yeah, but they traded that kill onto Duke for a mid turret and most of the top turret also.
Yeah.
It was a pretty steep price to pay to keep the gangplank down. They better hope that it actually pays off here. Kuro.
I mean, he's just going to keep scaling as he goes.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for SKTelecom too, because all of the kills that they have in this game effectively are on blank, except for that one that Duke picked up onto Prey. So that going onto the tank, all of their money, and that will make them pretty sad here as they're still trying to scale up on this Ezreal and on this GP. But Peanut is down as well. We haven't talked too much about him, but both of the Trinity Force carries in this game have been a little bit delayed, but Peanut's made up for his lack of farm with at least a few kills and assists.
205, contributing to 5 of the 7, so going to be in a good spot. They're just waiting for Duke. They are really just not a fan of this gangplank. They gank him yet again as he tries to retreat underneath the tower. Onslaught of Shadows comes through, and they take him down. Another kill from Peanut.
Patience.
And Duke is just got to be tilted by this point.
Well, they're very patient in the way they're dealing with Duke, right? They are making sacrifices to kill him over and over and over again. At first, it was Kuro making sacrifices on his mid lane CS to go into the bottom side.
Yeah.
Now it was a turret in the mid lane. So they're paying a price for this, and SKTelecom is exacting tribute.
Prey. Here comes Faker. One more hit will do it. He takes him down. Smooth sailing over that wall. Finds the kill, and now Gorilla really far forward, and Bang is running up to try to find him. Stand United gets used. They're actually going to TP in here to try to turn this one around. Wolf is the one going low. Blank now, way too far forward, will actually fall. And the end of things, Kuro finds that kill.
Going for more,
Gorilla,
too. They're two turrets deep.
Gorilla's still walking really far forward.
Here we go.
Hits into Faker. He's still got a bunch of damage to dish out, but look at this. Looks like they're going to be able to turn this one around with a taunt. Kuro finds another kill. 2 in that fight. The rest of SKT will be able to retreat back to that tier 1 in the bottom side, but ROX, that was looking like a really bad decision. Gorilla walking that far up, taking that much damage, but they're able to turn it around. They come up with another pair of kills.
Yeah, he's already pretty tanky. And Duke's TP had just come up after Faker died, so there was no opportunity to respond except with the cannon barrage. But that play was well thought out because Gorilla's sitting here, and Wolf preemptively pops it. They're trying to get out right now, but ROX says, okay, we've got you two turrets deep at the moment, so let's make a play. TP use, Stand United use, we'll catch out Blank. Gorilla's not afraid at all, still going to come in, and watch this ult from Kuro. Very good to box Faker in. Faker tries to save
There's
Wolf
nowhere you can go.
and gets punished for it. He could have gone up through the tri-brush right there, but he was trying to save his teammate, and he's the one who ends up going down instead.
Yep. There's also on Gorilla there on that initial engage from Wolf, interrupting the headbutt with the pillar as well. So just a good outplay by Gorilla, and then a good combo there from Kuro and his pillar. So ROX now finding themselves with twice the amount of kills as SKTelecom, but still only going to be ahead by 1.2 thousand. Of course, the majority of that will be coming from that extra turret, which is, yeah. Oh, we have an engage on the Gorilla in the bottom side. Actually, just going to get melted. Bang finds the kill. Peanut goes deep. Does lock up Wolf. They will find the first kill there from Kuro. Emperor's Fight comes out. Peanut being taken really low. Blank goes back in. Is able to find the kill with the help of Duke as they take down the Hecarim. And the rest of SKT taking heavy losses. Smab going to get locked up there with the taunt onto Faker. Kill comes through from Prey, and they're going to continue this one. Smab going really low. The Mystic Shot almost kills him, but it's not enough. True Shot Barrage not there yet as well for Bang, and looks like Smeb will make it out with his life, but barely so. SKT.
Bang's still hunting for this one. He's got Smeb on a ward. Smeb, that's a really dangerous place to recall.
Yeah, but he does make it out with his life. So not the worst of things, so he does get to live.
Bloody game, but it's been
a bloody series so far.
It's been entertaining. Now they catch out Gorilla here at the red buff, burst him down nearly immediately, but Wolf also takes the brunt of that punishment. Peanut also gets knocked back and then has his onslaught of shadows to re-engage into the back line. Smeb, a little bit caught out front here, but he's protecting Prey on the backside. Now Kuro, I'm surprised he didn't actually ride this wall through. I can't see why he didn't do that. Actually, he may have tried to ride it and he got hit by the cannon barrage. That may have happened. It was really hard to tell on the minimap what happened, but the cannon barrage was ticking a few seconds earlier. So you would have thought he would have gone in with the wall right there. But it looked like to me on the minimap he got bumped off immediately after he hopped on.
Could have been Gorilla going to be eating a bunch of these mystic shots to the face as they continue pushing into this mid side. Peanut finds Faker, sends him running back.
Well, Peanut's really scary now. His Trinity Force has been done for a while. It has his Cinder Hulk. He's getting into that 3k HP range Hecarim, which will have a huge effect on the late game.
Well, we are just doubling down with the Drakes tonight. So 2 Mountain in a row, 1 each now spread between both of these teams. And I believe it was a Cloud Drake that's going to be next. So
does Mountain Drake give Talia a huge buff?
It should. It really should. Like, they have a few of those hidden buffs in the game. I think Talia definitely should get one. 1 extra damage to turrets. Something like that. I mean, Azir should technically also sort of get one too, but
he's from the desert, not the mountains. Here we go.
Mountain of sand. Talia ultimate comes through. Wolf gets locked up. It cleanses off that arrow with his own ultimate. It still has nowhere to go. Didn't want to burn the flash. Just kind of writes himself off as dead. He will fall. Smeb claiming that kill. Now Faker, who's chunked out a little bit, goes up the Sand Soldier's going to try to burn through this wave as best as they can to stop ROX from getting forward. Get some damage, and of course that Hecarim with the Triforce would be able to do a significant amount to these turrets. Flank goes forward, steals away the Raptor. And they will be able to hold on to that tier 2, but ROX are just getting pick after pick.
It's backing off right now. No over-aggression from the Tigers. They're much more calculated this game than we've seen them as of late. Yes, they may be on a 5 best-of-3 winning streak, but they have suffered from giving away kills and making games closer than they should have been at times. It's a much more crisp performance. Yes, there have been a lot of kills in this game, but every time it seems pretty much that the Tigers try and take a fight, they end up on the better end of it.
Yeah, we're almost at a kill per minute. 21-24. Not bad.
Well, there are like a million globals in this game too, which is also affecting the pace of it and the ability for teams to take fights.
I mean, over 1/3 of those kills are onto Duke.
I feel bad for Duke. He really couldn't do anything in this game. He has no dashes. The wall comes in behind him and he just has to stand there, and a single tear rolls down his pirate cheek as Shen stabs him repeatedly.
Pirates don't cry.
They do if they're walled in.
Pirates,
if they've been on land for too long.
Pirates only cry when the rum is gone.
Okay. I think they start to tear up if they've been on land for too long, and he is literally landlocked. So.
Yeah.
A landlocked pirate is a sad pirate.
I don't know if it makes him sad enough to cry, but I guess if there's anything that'll make him cry, it's the lack of rum. And then being landlocked. Of course, he just borrows some from Gragas, but Gragas is pretty selfish with that barrel unless he's trying to murder you with it.
He's also on the other team.
Oh, we go. Wolf getting engaged on, pops that Alistar ultimate yet again, but it's still taking a bunch of damage. Has to flash over the wall to safety, but here comes Peanut with the onslaught of shadows going straight to the back line. Will burn down Wolf, and Blank is going to follow suit. Faker uses the Emperor's Divide, will be able to help fire back a kill onto Kuro. They also take out Bray, and now SKT actually turning this fight on its head. Smeb way too far forward, can't get anything done. It's going to be a 3-for-2. SKT coming out on top of that one.
Yeah, I didn't exactly see how Prey died in that fight, but
Sand Soldiers.
Sand Soldiers, all right. Several of them popped over the wall, and I don't think that's how you want to play it if you're the Tigers. You bisected the team already with the ultimate, so just kill the ones that are there, because trying to go into a barrel Sand Soldier and Frost or Iceborne Ezreal combination really just plays into SKT's strengths. So let's see how this one unfolded.
Start off really well for ROX.
Yeah, SKT actually did block the arrow with Wolf and then have to use his ultimate, but this was
Pretty sure it's Sand. Oh, it's Duke on the backside actually.
All right,
him.
so this is really silly. Like leaving Prey, the poor, less than mobile AD carry back there when you could have turned onto the members of SKT that were on the other side of the wall already, or don't take the fight at all. Just force them to use their summoner spells and back out and wait for the ult to come back up again.
Yeah, I thought he was playing further up. We can see though an engage coming out onto Faker, who takes a bunch of damage from this Hecarim, is just steamrolling his way through. Kuro not going to be able to find a connection with that worked ground or the unraveled earth. Kuro taking a bunch now from the True Shot Barrage, and Blank and Wolf are collapsing in on the sidelines. They're going to be able to close the gap, and Blank finds the kill onto the Talia, and now Smeb going to have to dash over the wall to safety. Should be able to make it out with his life, but SKT turning around another engage of ROX's.
Well, Duke just sitting up here all by himself, able to start to split push and really force that gangplank advantage. But yeah, speaking of, I said ROX wasn't being overly aggressive, and now they are diving way too far against a composition that is perfectly capable of kiting them and killing them under these turrets. Grog Assault also diving Alistar a challenge. SKT has the perfect composition to not be dough.
Oh, arrow comes out. Oh, but it's just a
so
little
close,
too
about half
late.
second off.
Yeah, just unable to get the pick there. And Faker will be able to retreat safely. So now Gold swinging back over in the favor of SKTelecom, but still a very minor amount separating these teams. But Duke with that split push is getting a good amount of farm now, stretching a firm lead over top of Smeb in that regard. Has picked up 5 kill participations, 3 killing blows, and is netting himself some very crucial items. The Maul of Morius on his way in. Oh, and
nice.
Bang with the snipe. Nice takeaway. Gets the blue buff. That's just
impressive.
That's just throwing sand in the eyes. ROX are already down on the ground at this point.
I thought Faker was the one who threw the sand in the eyes with the...
Bang's trying his hand at it.
Just grabs some of the sand from the Azir
throws it into
out
the True Shot Barrage and shoots it through them.
Okay, well, we have Dragon up in 1 second. SKTelecom going to secure vision over Baron first, so there aren't any sneaky little trades right here. See if they can create a pick. Now, ROX Tigers still have a chance to fight their way back into this game, but they need to make sure they don't overcommit and allow SKT to kite. Just use the Talia ult to bisect.
They're going to try to make a play up into this top side. Blank goes back in with a body slam to dissuade them, and now Duke's arriving, and ROX have bit off more than they can chew here. Smeb going to get knocked into the wall. Here comes the Talia riding the wave. Sets out the ultimate.
Just saving the teammate. Not sure that was really necessary. I think Smeb would have survived, and it was actually a big win that they used the Grog Assault already to try and pin Smeb back, but he doesn't have TP, so he actually can't recall right now.
Really? You got to be careful. It's chunked out pretty quickly over the wall by that Azir and Ezreal combination, and SKT are just posturing up near this Baron. If they can get one pick, they will go straight for this. They have the damage with the Mountain Drake and this Azir. Yeah, that up in the front line is going to get popped up by the headbutt pulverize, locked up by the body slam, and he's going to go down. Faker finds the kill, and that should be enough to instill the confidence for Baron in SKTelecom.
45 seconds. See if they actually are going to go for it right now. Looks like they're going to burn it down really fast.
Wolf goes back in, finds Gorilla, and they just completely decimate him. He falls. Now the Cannon Barrage used, and Duke trying to get a chase onto Prey, who will just get barely clipped by that True Shot Barrage, but this should be a pretty easy Baron by SKT, barring a magnificent steal from the side of ROX. Kuro just trying to chunk him out as best as he can. Peanut gets locked up by the headbutt pulverize yet again. Now the body slam in onto Prey, and he gets melted with that cask, knocking him back. SKT have found 3 picks. Now they will go for the Baron.
Prey has not been using his flash this game.
He was using it so well in the last one.
Yeah, he didn't use his flash when he was up against Duke. Caught off by himself in the last fight, and he didn't use it here either, even though he could see the engage coming in from Blank. So they are going to lose a Baron. SKTelecom now starting to get on a roll, and a couple small team fighting mistakes from ROX Tigers have cost them what may be game number 2.
Yeah.
Gorilla has to go in there to check it. There's no other option. They don't have the vision. Prey going to back out right here, and has to be very afraid of the barrel, so is zoned way out. Nice job by Duke. And then Peanut going to walk up here. Hawkshot sees them doing it. Wolf's going to turn onto them now. Prey goes forward. He goes way too far forward right there. And I don't know why he was going that far forward. Just shouldn't have been there in the choke point. It will be a Dragon, Cloud Drake, taken by SKTelecom immediately after the Baron.
Yeah. SKT now, after ROX were ahead for so long, making the picks, doubling the amount of kills that SKT had. SKT are poised to take this game. Peanut goes straight into the back line, onto Bang, tries to kill him, uses the onslaught of shadows. Here comes Girl. Can they finish him off? They will be able to do so now. Duke getting engaged on up top here, gets locked up by the pillar, and he's going to fall. Peanut finds it. Faker has not been in this fight whatsoever, and ROX Tigers come right back in, making me eat my words, and they will find out 4-0. Faker, the only one left alive because he wasn't even in the fight.
I don't even know if Faker would have lived had he been in that fight, Achilleos, because it was so well set up by the Tigers. The divide and conquer is what they want. Faker fails his jump over the wall.
He does have flash available, he uses the Emperor's Divide, but he doesn't have many places to run to. Sitting in the brush now, trying to chunk out Kuro, gets something done, flashes forward, trying to get the kill, but he gets knocked back by Peanut, and he's gonna fall. That's the ace for ROX Tigers, who just blew this game wide open yet again.
Yeah, back right where they started. Still a few thousand gold down, but at least they cleared the Baron buff, and they reset the game just a little bit. They should be able to get back in terms of gold with this turret, close within about 1,000. But yeah, the divide and conquer is definitely what they want in these team fights. So much better protection that time. Prey not left to himself. And so we will see the ROX Tigers get back into the game.
Still down a bit, but that gold deficit's not going to mean a whole lot. Mountain Drake, of course, on either side can be pretty nice. And Smeb trying to be sneaky and spotted out. Of course, Elder Dragon will be the next one spawning. But ROX surprisingly able to turn that fight around.
Yeah. See what SKT has in store. They're still... Blank has been such a jungle jerk this game, stealing so many of those camps away from Peanut. See that yet again. Peanut's starting to get super tanky now. See if he builds into the Dead Man's Plate next. What I would expect. Arrow goes out.
Goes out. It does find Duke in the backside, but he cleanses that one off with the orange and will keep himself safe for the time being. Gorilla throwing out the pillar, just trying to spot SKT on the flank. Flank goes in, finds Gorilla. They knock Prey forward. He flashes out immediately. Emperor's Divide uses. Peanut goes in with the onslaught of shadows. Now Kuro riding the wave in. They're trying to work down SKT, but they're just going back and forth quite evenly. Gorilla has to get the heal from Prey. Takes a huge chunk of damage as they're just trying to turn this one around. Wolf goes in for the headbutt, but dies immediately to Prey, who is still alive. Bang! Trying to trade out, finds a kill on the Kuro, but Prey answers for it yet again. Smeb hot on the heels of Duke and Blank, trying to catch them. It's a 3-for-2 as ROX comes out on top yet again. In worst case scenario, they can just take this tier 2 in the mid.
Yeah, they're going to keep on following through with the tier 2. Prey just getting the Raptor camp right there. Had a ward, so they wanted to be able to take that and get some health regen onto Prey to make sure that he wasn't going to die to any kind of snipe attempt by Blank or Duke. But let's take a look at that team fight. Cast thrown out early, but Prey has his flash up, uses it this time. Peanut gets around. The cannon barrage not very well placed to hit very many people. Does end up hitting Kuro as he goes back in. Wolf does a very good job keeping this Prey out of the fight. First headbutting him and then absorbing all of his damage while he's in the ultimate. So that's the only reason why this fight was anywhere close, was because of the way that Wolf played it and how Prey only had that one target. But after Wolf goes down, the cleanup here by Prey, following through onto Bang, and they chase out Blank and Duke, who just don't have the necessary tools to continue fighting in a 2v3.
Yeah. Overall, just going to be the tier 2 loss outside of the kills there from SKTelecom. So not losing an inhibitor turret or an inhibitor yet, but this has enabled for ROX to close this deficit completely as they now maintain dominance in this match. Baron getting ready to spawn in 1 minute and 40 seconds.
All right, big difference now, though. Blank has Flash and Ultimate, and Prey does not have Flash. So keep an eye on that one because Blank needs to be able to kill Prey instantaneously. Likewise, no Flash onto Ezreal for just a little bit longer. And Peanut with a Ghost. And we've seen Peanut really try and select that target of Bang in the back line, take him out. But for me, it's much more about whether Prey can get the right positioning here. He's doing a ton of damage at the moment, but very vulnerable to flash casks from Blank. Doesn't have the best protection in the world because they want to use the Shen ultimate offensively to engage with either Peanut or Kuro rather than trying to kite it out with Prey. So Prey's been sort of on his own this game, more or less.
There's a moment of calm before the inevitable storm now.
And look at that. Elder Dragon and Baron spawning right at the same time.
Well, I think we know which one they're going to be fighting over. But the question is, who's going to be postured to get it? So far, ROX do have control of vision in the area of the Baron. So they are in a pretty decent spot in that regard. SKT haven't taken too many steps to get towards into that area. Wolf now starting to roam into the vicinity. But this would be such a risky play from either side without getting at least 1 or 2 picks.
Yeah, Smeb is hiding in a pink ward right now, so keep an eye on him. They don't know where Smeb is on the map at all. He was just in try and they didn't have vision. So he's setting up. They're setting up for a big engage right here. If they go into the river to get wards, SKTelecom is going to be in for a nasty surprise.
Yep. Smeb playing like a true ninja. He will get spotted as he moves into this bottom side.
Yeah, they
try
see
to get that wave rolling.
Yeah, they see Duke going back top, and they also see that there hasn't been a commitment.
Oh,
Here we go.
Yep, they're going to cut him off yet again with a Talia ultimate. He throws down the cannon barrage, but it's not going to do anything. He flashes, but the wall is still there, and Duke will fall in the end of things. Peanut finding the kill now. Meanwhile, by this red buff, Gorilla goes forward, uses the pillar already. He's taking a hell of a lot of damage from Bang, who's just going to solo him out pretty much.
Bray has no
now
flash.
Bray, no flash, nowhere to go. SKT turned this one right on its head. The TPUs and SKTelecom come out with 2 picks, only losing Duke, and they are going to start up this Baron. You can be damn sure they're going to shred that with this Azir, with this Ezreal.
I mean, they know those 3 members of ROX don't have ultimates any longer, so really risky for them to go in. And I don't know why Prey and Gorilla were at that part of the map. It had already been taken care of. The collapse onto the top side. Peanut in trouble.
Yeah, Kuro as well, getting popped by that cask right there. Tries to flash away, but the Mystic Shot still connects. He's just trying to throw out as much damage as he possibly can with the dreaded volley, but he is going to go down as they hand this one over to Blank. Peanut does make it out alive, but ROX make a proactive play in the top and then immediately lose so many more members off the backside.
Yeah, I wasn't watching the minimap when that occurred. It looked like Prey and Gorilla were worried about potentially them getting cut off or collapsed on, so they try and engage this, but that's all you need to do. Bang.
Just back off.
Yeah, has to QSS the arrow, and they just try and tie them up to buy time for their top lane, but you just can't do that when there's this Gragas again with the casket. Prey doesn't have flash. It's way too dangerous.
I don't know what you're doing if you're Gorilla right there. I'm not sure what goes through your
head.
Well,
no, if you're Gorilla, you're trying to prevent them from getting into the top side from collapsing 5 versus 3 on your teammates, but why Prey was trying to help after he threw out the arrow, that's a different question.
I think throwing the pillar was...
If you trade 1 for 1, and...
Sure, if you lose only Gorilla,
yeah,
that's fine.
For Duke, yeah, you'll be fine with that, but Prey dying as well was the big mistake.
Yeah. Now SKTelecom with Baron, with the Elder Dragon, are just steamrolling their way down through this mid lane, looking for those inhibitors. The wave clear, of course, from the side of ROX is going to be pretty weak right now. Those turrets are melting. Peanut coming in with the team. This inhibitor now exposed is just going to get burned out by SKTelecom with little competition. And now Duke roaming down to bottom is going to get that wave moving, and SKTelecom should be able to net themselves a tier 2 on top of all of this.
Yeah, at least the tier 2. If you're a ROX fan, you'll be happy to see that at least they have tier 2s left in the side lanes, which may prevent them from getting another inhibitor, depending on the timing of this Elder Dragon, which is, against Talia's wave clear, a bit difficult to push through.
They can't even move forward to try to defend that one. Wolf coming around the side will get a good little bit of vision for the team as they move forward with what few minions they do have. Another wave is crashing now, and SKTelecom, of course, have an immense amount of hope with this Ezreal and Azir. Hell, even with the gangplank throwing out those barrels, Peanut already getting chunked down below half HP. Smeb not able to go in for the taunt off the backside of that unraveled, or the seismic shove, I should say. And a second inhibitor is going to fall here in favor of SKTelecom.
Backing off, and this looking like it very well could be a surprising 2-0 for SKT. When if we consider their form coming into this series, losing 3 of their last 4 best-of-3s. And ROX on that 5 best-of-3 winning streak is definitely a big surprise.
Well, I'm glad that I am not a gambling man, Monty, because I would have said ROX 2-1.
I would have said that as well. So I thought SKT would be in better form after a little bit of a break and after the losing streak, kicking themselves into gear, but they've been performing very well tonight overall.
Well, we hold on to our money in the end. So that's good at least.
And we got some very good games out of it too.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, I'm going to see SKT coming back down now. It's just a game of seeing if the ROX Tigers can hold on. They are trying to be very proactive at the moment.
Peanuts is sitting in the brush. They don't. Oh wait, they do know he's here. Faker throws in the sand soul for the check. He gets popped up by that headbutt. He's gonna take a good amount of damage now. Down below, half HP. Can they finalize the kill? Yeah, he uses the onslaught of shadows to get out of there, and that's a massive part of ROX's engage gone.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to be building Black Cleaver next too. He sold his Trinity Force. That is an interesting choice. Oh no, I'm crazy. Never mind. Oh, I was looking at Speb right there.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me.
I was like,
No, I was wrong. Look at this.
My spectator
Nope.
fund, or?
He's going. Smeb will be going Trinity Force next, and Peanut going for some additional armor pen.
Well, this turret now getting engaged on. Smeb splitting in the bottom side, still has Stand United available. But they need the opening. SKT are moving forward. Wolf goes in, pops up Bray, who flashes out. Isn't enough. He throws out the arrow to try to keep himself alive, trying to regen as much as he possibly can. Blank just can't get to him. He's actually able to burn through that Guardian Angel, but Smeb has fallen to the backside. In the meantime, a triple pulverize comes through from Wolf, and Kuro is going to be the one getting focused. A double kill. Now going over to Bang. Peanut's the only one left alive. I take that back. He's going to go down. Bang coming up with multiple kills, and SKTelecom T1 will take down ROX Tigers with a 2-0 here. What a great re-entry into round 2.
That's right, and 49 kills in 43 minutes.
Yeah.
In that last game. There were so many globals available that the Tigers were just willing to fight. But SKT end up on the better end of things. ROX goes for an ill-fated gank onto Duke in the top side and gets their bottom lane caught out, which turns into that dragon, or turns into the Baron and the Elder Dragon. But you know, these were pretty damn close games for a lot of it this
Absolutely.
evening, and it was a very close 2-0. Great series.
Yeah. You know, I think I figured out why it was so bloodthirsty. It's because of the Sprite. For you guys who saw the arena earlier, that everyone's holding the green glow sticks. That's from Sprite. They're doing a special here at the OGN Stadium, and they're the title sponsor of the LPL.
That's right.
So wherever Sprite goes,
the blood
bloodthirstiness
follows.
just follows. So that's what it is.
All right. Right, you can get a Sprite sponsorship for your World Championship right now, and it will be very entertaining.
I completely agree, but look at that, SKTelecom coming back with a 2-0 win over top of ROX, who put up a very well-fought battle. But, I mean, even Kuro holding his own in that mid lane. I mean, a big part of that was getting those repeated ganks in onto Duke, but in the end, it didn't do enough. You can see the damage from Bang. Just absolutely monstrous. 48,000, 10,000 more than anybody else in ROX.
Also, we really have to give a lot of credit. Again, I think the MVPs for me this series have been Faker and Blank. And again, Blank did his job. He punished the Ashe for not having flash, for being left alone. And his play in the team fights was a big part of why they were able to take them and get rid of Prey early on, as his team wasn't doing quite enough to protect him on the ROX Tigers side.
Well, SKT exploding back into round 2. Just going to try to shut up all the naysayers that have been saying that they're a team that's falling apart. So,
and they go to first place with this too. 7-3. They knock the Tigers down into the third place. They knock the Tigers down into third place.
Yep. Well, your MVP from that second game will be Bang, with a pretty monstrous kill contribution right there. 92%, the most damage in the game, and now he's going to move up the standings a little bit more as he nets himself his 5th MVP nomination.
That's right, up there, tied at number 3 with Crown and Someday. And I take that back, Achilleos. Tigers go down to 4th place.
Wow, that is a big dip.
That's a big dip, but now we've had in 2 days 3 different teams in first place in this league.
Yeah.
So it's been a bit nutty.
It's just been flip-flopping back and forth. I like it.
Yeah, the field is definitely still wide open here in Korea. We'll take a look at So Bang's team fighting, getting the heck out of dodge, away from Smeb, and throwing an Essence Flux over, I guess. Help finish him off.
Yep.
This was really, I mean, Blank did most of the work on this one, honestly. Setting up the praise like, oh, I have no flash. Sad times. And then cleaning up some of these last fights, he's getting a triple kill into the base here. He's just playing way back in the corner, 1v1ing Smeb, and then shifting forward to, well, looks like he got knocked closer right there. That was actually helpful. So
Thank you.
Kuro, give him a little shove in the right direction.
Here, ended faster. I'm done with this game. I hate playing against Faker. Take me now.
He actually did very well that game. And
Oh, yeah, for
played
sure.
really well around the side lanes. Just some excellent League of Legends tonight. Very fun to watch.
That's what we come to expect from Bang on the Ezreal. Of course, so we have an interview with both of our MVPs. We're going to throw over to Joel for the translation. Joel, take it away.
Thank you very much, guys. We're here with today's MVPs, Faker and Bang for SKTelecom.
성공했는데요. 승리의 주역인 MVP 선수들 만나서 얘기를 나눠볼게요. 큰 박수로 맞이해 주세요.
Give them a big round of applause.
네, 페이커 선수, 뱅 선수 승리 축하드립니다.
Congratulations on your win, guys.
승리 소감 한 말씀 부탁드립니다.
Give us a comment on the win.
네, 저희가 1라운드 끝에 많이 부진하면서
We were having bad performances at the end, near the end of round one, and we were really worrying about that. I'm glad we were finally able to recover and really show ourselves again in round two. As you mentioned, a lot of people were saying that SKTelecom wasn't playing their game near the end of round one. What are your comments on that?
원래 1라운드 초중반에는 그냥
At the early stages of round one, we did what we were supposed to do.
많이 이기긴 해도
But after winning so many games, I think some of our mental issues came in, and I think it really turned us down near the end of round one.
고평가를 받아서 그런지 잘리는 경우도 많고 그런 점에서 애쉬 진, 애쉬가 참
We saw instead of the popular severe pick, we saw more of the Ashe Jhin combination. What are some of your comments on that?
질하는 캐릭터는 좀 아닌 것 같고요. 그냥
With Jhin, it's very conditional where if you get a very good early start, it really helps flow the game, but it's very risky when you're not doing as well in early. But Ashe is one of the more safer choices that you can pick, and as long as you do your part, you can always have a chance to turn around the game.
근데 또 제가
And also getting the ult down is very important. And I think
아까 때도
playing in game one,
사이로 날아가더라고요.
I had a few misses on the ultimate, and I was kind of worried about that. But
네, 저는
피넛을 잡았잖아요. 피넛을 노렸던 거 아니에요?
weren't you waiting for Peanut? No, I was just shooting all around. But
제가
overall, playing with Ashe, it was really important to hit those arrows. And
맞더라고요.
and this was a situation where Jhin hit it, and you hit Peanut with that.
피넛이 죽은 것도 한타 끝난 거 알았어요. 정말 정신없는 와중에
It was a very rowdy situation.
못 맞히기가 힘든 스킬이라고요?
아, 네, 그 속도도 좀 빠르고 그리고
What I think of the Ashe's arrow ultimate is it's one of those skills that are very hard to hit, and you need to really focus hard to get it right.
준식이가 맞는 말한 것 같고
I think Bang said the right thing,
그때 사실 저도 킨드레드 맞은 줄도 몰랐고
and I didn't even know that Kindred was hit by the ult.
대기실 와서 코치님이 말씀하시더라고요.
And coach told me after the game that Kindred got hit by the arrow earlier.
그래서 드는 생각이 아즈르나 진이나 둘 중 하나만 맞추면 됐는데라는 생각이.
We just thought if he had hit a Zero or a Kindred, it would have been fine. But he got it, so we're happy with that.
그래도 역시 전교 1, 2등이 또 나와서 여러 가지 그게 문제였다. 그 한 문제가 문제였다.
SKT always talks about the little problems that they have within the game, and it's really impressive to see such thoughts from the SKT.
하시면서 MVP로 선정이 되셨어요. 이제 이즈리얼은 뱅의 아이콘과
Now a lot of people, after seeing so many good performances from you, that Israel is Bang's champion, and really no one else can overdo your performances on it.
다르다 이런 얘기가 자꾸 나오는 걸까요?
What are some of your comments on that?
일단 저거 그 이즈리얼이 챔피언이 좋기도 한데
I personally like Israel as a champion,
좀 많이 쓰는 것 같아서
and I see a lot of players using it nowadays. And I think it's just a popular champion overall.
얘기가 나오진 않잖아요.
But we see that other players can't play Israel as good as you.
근데 그냥
I think other players can play as well as I can, but it's just I've been lucky with my plays. And I don't think it's the best player that is out there, and I don't think it's my champion, as you said. It's just one of those champions that feed off of the advantages that your teammates make, and it's a pretty easy champion to operate with. And as long as you get your CS and just do what you're supposed to do, it's a pretty safe champion to play with.
그리고 그러면 페이커 선수의 경우는
With Faker,
타이어에 대해서 여러 가지 분석 기사도 나오고 이슈도 많았어요. 과연 페이커가 쓸 것인가 아니면 타이거즈 쪽에서 쓸 것인가.
we were talking about whether Talia was going to be used by you. What were your some comments on that? We expected Talia to show up today, and we practiced with that in mind. And we thought that Kuro was gonna use it in his game. And I've played with it and against it in solo rank. And the Azir Talia matchup is something that was advantageous to us. And with Talia, I've faced it many times and got a lot of knowledge of the champion. And had a good laning phase because of it.
탈리아 얘기가 나와서 얘긴데요. 오늘 뭐 페이커 선수가 탈리아 쓰지 않겠느냐 이런 예상들이 많았었잖아요. 근데 1경기는 아지르 상대로 르블랑을 썼어요.
We thought that you would use Talia in game 1, but you used LeBlanc instead. With the first match, if I picked Talia, I could poke him down in the laning phase. But I was worried that we might get pushed in the late game, and we thought that LeBlanc would have been a better pick for the overall game performance.
그리고 확실히 요즘 이제 쉔에 대한 이제 생각이 티어가 좀 내려간 것 같은 느낌.
And a lot of people are downgrading Shen as one of the top tier picks for top lane. Did you prepare with Shen in mind, facing an opposition? Duke is a very talented Shen player, and he knows a lot about the champion. We heard a lot of things that Duke said about Shen, and when he picked Gangplank to face it, we were thinking about multiple things that we could have, but with Hecarim coming in and Talia coming in, it was a very confusing situation for us. It was hard to operate with that in the early game. We saw that Talia was getting ahead by picking off gameplay multiple times in the early game, and you guys were really struggling with that. When we ended, we really concluded by saying that the top lane struggling for us really allowed the other lanes to open up and get their advantages and eventually make all that pay off in the late game. And we thought that Talia's ult, when it's used consistently, it would make us struggle, but we were able to fight back and make some good plays, and the global gold difference wasn't that too much of a disadvantage for us. So we always believed that we could come back, and we did. We're still talking about Gangplank. And when the
귤 까먹느라 정신이 살려서. 네. 아, 네. 보죠.
So this was a scene. This was pretty awkward, but what happened there?
때가 아니라 또 다른 때도 잘못했는데.
I'm not sure what really happened, but it did fall off pretty weird. And we did make an advantage out of this as much as we could, but it really was a weird situation. In the second set, you guys were struggling back and forth throughout the game. And when you guys were really thought that you guys had an advantage, you guys went in really hard, but you got paid back by ROX Tigers, and ROX Tigers got their advantage. We were trying to use the advantage we had in mid and bot lane.
그다음에 네, 우리 바텀 그 저희가 원래
But
제가 미드를 밀 때 4명이 물리는 경우가 거의
when in the bot lane when we were having the team fight, we didn't think that 4 of us would get caught right away,
거기서 4명이 다 죽게 된 건데.
and that was an unfortunate situation for us. So it was a really dangerous time for us as a team, and I think it was a team mistake on our part.
네, 그러면 이제 SKT가 예, 준비된 영상이 있다 그러거든요.
Oh, there's another clip ready for us. Now let's have a look at it.
살 수 있다라고 생각하셨나요?
Did you think that you would get out of this one?
좀 커튼콜을 제가 네 번째 거를 그냥 피하면 되는데 못 피해서.
I always think that as long as I avoid the 4th curtain call, I'll be okay.
안 쓰려고 했는데
And things didn't go as well as I thought, and I had to use all my escape tools to get away. And unfortunately, I was able to get away.
대처력도 상대가 날카롭게 했는데 오늘 정말 되는 날이라는 걸.
And I think it was one of those days that whatever you did, it worked. And next game is another big match for you guys. What are your thoughts on the matchup?
저희가 이제 하루 걸러서 또 KT랑
But we have a 1-day rest and facing KT the next game. And getting a win today really did help us boost our confidence. And we want to continue with this to get a good result off of KT. And getting that 1-day rest should help us replenish and help us be ready enough to get a good game against KT.
왜 그러시죠? 뱅 선수가 그러시면 어떡해요? 지금 뱅 선수가 제일 잘하는 막 이런 분들
그냥 좀 상대 팀들이 워낙 잘해서
Nowadays, I'm really experiencing a lot of teams that are much better than we had previously thought, and we took them lightly and we lost very crucial games in round 1, and I don't want to think too easily of them now, and I want to just try to get a right attitude going into the games. Faker, would you like to say a few words to the fans?
오늘 락스전 저희가 그렇게 좋은 경기력은 아니었지만
We didn't play the best game against ROX today, but fortunately we got the win.
많은 팬분들이 저희를
And a lot of fans cheering for us is a really big boost for us. It gives us a lot